Chapter 865. Hundreds of thousands of people moved with difficulty in the ice and snow. Almost every moment, someone would fall and never get up again. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan frowned from time to time. Mo Jilian and Kei Tachin also felt like their hearts were being cut by knives. After another 10 days, the hot air balloons ran out of fuel and landed on the ground. Kei Tachin and the other tribe leaders were still protected by Zhang Xiaobao's people. In order to reduce the weight, the balloons in the hands of the other Turks were thrown away by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Seeing the hot air balloons that could not be used anymore being used as firewood, Mo Jilian and Kei Tachin looked at the clear night sky. They gathered around a bonfire and drank spicy wine. Their hearts were filled with bitterness. Zhang Xiaobao, can you think of a way to get the people in Feng province to quickly transport the provisions? We can't afford to die. If our tribe continues to die, there will be less than half left. Mo Jilian glanced at Zhang Xiaobao and the others beside him and said to Zhang Xiaobao. At the same time, he sniffed and smelled a fragrance that he had never smelled before. He was very curious about what Xiao Bei and the others were holding. Xiao Bei was scolded and changed his hands back and forth. Seeing Mo Jilian look over, he did not care if it would dirty his clothes. He put the sweet potato in his hand on his pants and rubbed his hands. He pinched a piece of the sweet potato and gave it to Mo Jilian. Try it. Zhang Xiaobao looked at his sister and then at Mo Jilian. He introduced, this is called sweet potato. It can be used as food and can be made into powder. It is very delicious. After drying it, it can be turned into snacks. When the output increases next year, I will give you some to make porridge. Mo Jilian was stunned. He took the sweet potato and suddenly remembered the purpose of coming. Zhang Xiaobao, when will the provisions arrive? Soon, soon. The road is difficult now. Your tribe has a lot of people. Even if the provisions arrive first, it will be a drop in the bucket. Hold on a little longer. As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he wiped his sister's mouth that was blackened from eating roasted sweet potatoes. He looked at Emoji with a helpless expression. A cry came from afar. Emoji couldn't bear it and closed his eyes. He knew that another member of his tribe had died. He gritted his teeth and asked Zhang Xiaobao, If the people here are not from my tribe but from the Tang Empire, can't you get the provisions? This. Zhang Xiaobao, I'm begging you, please show mercy. I'm guilty. I shouldn't have taken my people away. Kill me, don't vent your anger on my people. When Mo Jilian saw Zhang Xiaobao's hesitation, she knew that if it were the people of Great Tang, Zhang Xiaobao would definitely have a solution. With a plop, she knelt in front of Zhang Xiaobao and begged. She thought that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were not satisfied and deliberately wanted more people of her tribe to die. Xiaobao looked at Mo Jilian in front of him and frowned deeply. He didn't pull Mo Jilian back. Instead, he sat on the ground and looked at Mo Jilian. To tell the truth, if it were the people of Great Tang, let alone hundreds of thousands of provisions, I would have sent 1 million people here long ago. It's not that I'm angry at you, but I'm afraid that once I mobilize all the resources, I won't be able to guard against you. What if someone instigates and attacks me while I'm deploying resources? What should I do? No, I promise not. They have no strength left. Hearing that there was hope, Mog hurriedly promised. You promise? When it comes to the survival of a tribe, can you promise? How about this? Order your people to throw away all the copper and iron, kill all the horses, and burn all the leather armor. Let the old and young eat their fill first and walk in front of the army. I can promise that within 3 days, there will be food and salt and tea. But the salt and tea will only be for the old and young. If you agree, you can give the order. Zhang Xiaobao finally relented, but he put forward a bunch of conditions. Mog knew that this was Zhang Xiaobao's bottom line. Hearing the gradually weakening cries in the wind, she nodded gratefully. Okay, I'll immediately give the order. We'll do as you say. Brother. After Mog left, Xiaobei leaned into Zhang Xiaobao's arms and whispered in his ear, Brother, don't let them eat their fill. Just now, when Xiaoyuan and I went to give some roasted corn to their leader's children, they glared at me. Oh. Then our Xiaobei didn't kill them? Zhang Xiaobao rubbed his sister's head and asked. Xiaobei shook her head. No, what's the use of killing a few? Unless all of them are beaten to death. Xiao Yuan said that they don't hate us, but hate the unfairness of the heaven. They are all like wolves who can be killed but can't be tamed. When they are fed, clothed, and educated, their ambitions will vanish. After a long time, the wolf may become a dog, like a wild chicken, or domestic fowl, like a wild boar. Oh, our Xiaobei knows so much. Zhang Xiaobao praised. It's not me, it's Xiao Yuan. He looks so knowledgeable all day. It's annoying to look at him. Xiaobei put the softest core of the sweet potato into her mouth and muttered while sucking on her fingers. Zhang Xiaobao did not expect that Wang Wan's younger brother would start to study this matter. He smiled and wiped his sister's finger that was stained with saliva, and then asked, Then the people of the Tang Empire will not be hot-blooded, right? Not even as ambitious as the Turks? That's not the same. Xiao Yuan said that the foreigner's ambition is to seize, while the Tang Empire's ambition is to create. That is to say, when the people around them see that our Tang Empire has good things, they want to snatch them. Our Tang Empire makes things that make our lives better. They don't understand the benefits of creating things. As long as we don't let them become emperor, we will continue to create, right? As Xiaobei spoke, she could not understand, so she could only ask her brother. Zhang Xiaobao could not explain too deeply to her sister. Even if he said, Xiaobei would not understand, so she could only nod in agreement. Mog, who had gone to give the order, did not go so smoothly. Many people were not willing to throw away their weapons, let alone kill the horses. Mog could not persuade them, so he began to force the people in the tribe to do so. He even killed a few hundred people to achieve his goal. At dawn, the group set off again, moving much faster than yesterday. Horse meat was also food. Those who were full would be able to replenish their strength and have a stronger resistance to the cold. Mog, K. Chin, and the other Turkic tribe leaders did not have good expressions. They were worried that if they really submitted to the Tang Empire, they would lose their status. They were even more afraid that the people in the tribe would see Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's guards and not have any bad thoughts. Mog repeatedly told the other tribe leaders about the power of the Tang Empire's weapons and told them to suppress the dissatisfied tribesmen. If there was a conflict at this time, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would probably harden their hearts and destroy the entire Turkic Empire. Walking on the road, there were still people who froze to death from time to time. Those who caught a cold did not have any hope of surviving. Every time they moved forward, there would be a few corpses left in the group for the wolves who did not dare to come forward as food. In the howling winds, the mood of the Turks was even more unstable. Several times, some people came out of the group to attack Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's group, but they were discovered and killed by others. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not seem to know. They continued to chat and laugh with Mog and the others, treating this trip as if they were traveling. Occasionally, they would find a snake cave, catch a hibernating snake, dig out the snake gall, and break it open with strong wine to make snake gall wine for their brothers and sisters to drink. Xiaobei had complained many times that the snake gall wine tasted bad, bitter, and astringent, but she never refused to drink it. The main reason was that drinking a little wine made her feel dizzy and comfortable. Just as Mog was worried that some people in the tribe would lose control of their emotions and bring disaster to the entire Turkic Empire, the 3 days that Zhang Xiaobao had promised were finally up. In front of them was still an endless grassland covered by a layer of snow. At noon on the 3rd day, when the group was resting, a row of black dots suddenly appeared on the horizon. The Turks who were eating stood up one by one and looked over vigilantly. Mog quickly took out his clairvoyance and looked over. He saw that there were countless deer and dogs running in their direction. Behind the deer and dogs were a sled that was tilted up in front. In addition to the deer and dogs, there were also people with sails behind them. They were moving with the wind like snakes. There were also many people wearing white clothes and capes, stepping on 2 bamboo poles. They were moving forward with a pole in each hand. If the other party did not move and did not look carefully, they would not be discovered. This is the group that delivered goods to the supermarket in Fengzhou, right? Tachin looked at Emoji curiously and asked. Moji shook his head slightly. I don't think they're just here to deliver food. There's also an army here to suppress us. The ones in white. In order to maintain the same speed, the deer and the dog didn't use their full strength when running. As the distance between the two groups got closer and closer, even without the clairvoyance, they could see the situation on the other side clearly. The Turkic people who were ready to make a move finally became obedient. If it was said that they wanted to make Zhang Xiaobao and his group stay, now that the other party had arrived, there was no hope at all. When the Tang group was less than 100 steps away from the Tubo group, 1,000 people on skis came out and spread out in all directions, forming a semicircle formation to surround the Tubo group. Another dozen or so people directly rushed towards Zhang Xiaobao and the others. Every time their arms thrust into the snow, these dozen or so people would advance a long distance. Their speed was much slower than a galloping horse on the grassland, but it was also many times faster than a person traversing the snow. Reporting, Little Young Master, Little Miss, the snow war camp of Fengzhou is here to report. 1050 people are here, but 1049 people are here. One person sprained his ankle when he just set off. End of report. The dozen people came to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, and the person in the middle stood out to report. Mog and his group were puzzled when they saw the appearance of these people, because they did not know what they looked like. They were wrapped up from head to toe, and even wore something for their eyes. They were probably afraid of the wind and had a problem of crying in the wind. Zhang Xiaobao knew that it was called goggles. It was specially made for the snow war camp to block the wind and not worry about snow blindness. When he heard the report, he took a step back and let Wang Wan in front. He said he would not care about the army, so he did. Wang Wan returned the salute and nodded. Very good. Take care of the one who sprained his ankle. Go back and strengthen the basic training. Come back to the team. Yes. The person answered. He did not stand at attention for Wang Wan. He was afraid that he would fall, so he used his ski poles to support himself, swung his legs, and turned around to slide back to the team. Another person stood up and said, Phong Province Logistics Camp reporting, 2,200 people are here, 2,200 people are here, 1,000 snow deers are here, 1,000 snow deers are here, 6,000 snow deers are here, 1,000 snow deers are here, 6,000 snow deers are here, 4 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 snow deers are here. Very good. Come back to the team. Pay attention to the 4 injured sled dogs and keep them warm. Wang Wan returned the salute. She could imagine the situation of the 4 dogs. The dog in front must have passed by, and the ice suddenly broke, and the 4 dogs in the middle fell. According to the training, the people on the sled would break the sled. Then, the dogs in front would push forward, and the dogs behind would push backward. The dogs that fell would be tensed up and wait for people to go and save them. This was usually what well-trained polar sled dogs would do. She did not expect the people in Fengzhou to train them successfully. Fengzhou medical team reporting, 300 people reported, 300 confirmed. End of report. Phong Province's Engineering Battalion reporting. 600 people are here. 600 people are here. Report complete. Phong Province's Loss Management Team reporting. Should have 450 people actually present. Report complete. Fengzhou Battle Command reporting. 60 people reported, 60 confirmed. End of report. Fengzhou Reconnaissance Camp reporting. Fengzhou Spy Camp reporting. Fengzhou Towing Artillery Camp reporting. One by one, people stood out to report to Wang Wan. Wang Wan also returned the salute one by one. Not far away, the leaders of the Turkic tribes were also listening. At this time, they realized that a single army could have so many branches, each in charge of their own things. It was not like the vanguard and the middle of a march. After the people in front finished reporting, there was only one short person left. A dwarf? The short one also skated to the front, but he didn't report to Wang Wan. Instead, He looked around and found Xiao Bei, who was at the back. He propped himself up with his ski poles a few times and approached Xiao Bei. With a childish voice, he said, "Fengfingzhou Children's Troop, reporting, reporting, there should be 100 people, but there are 86 people. 14 of them cried because of the cold, so the adults sent them back." Xiao Bei looked at the people from the children's regiment in surprise. His mouth was wide open, and he blinked hard. After a while, he reacted. "Fengzhou also has a children's regiment? They actually cried because of the cold. So stupid. You're embarrassing me. You can even cry because of the cold wearing down. I didn't cry even when my face was red. Instead of studying in school, why are you here?" "Stupid, I can't study anymore," the little guy from the children's regiment replied weakly. "Okay, then that's it. Return to the team. Pay attention to keeping warm. Don't cry because of the cold. If you fight, remember to shoot from afar. Don't rush forward. Choose the leader first, just like the one wearing this." Xiao Bei deliberately pointed at the leaders of the various Turkic tribes and introduced them to the leader of the Fengzhou Children's Regiment. "Yes, remember. Choose the leader first." The leader looked at them seriously and agreed. He also supported himself with his hands, squatted down, and swung his legs at the same time. He wanted to learn how to turn like the others, but in the end, he fell with a plop. He struggled to get up and left. Xiao Bei covered his face when he saw this. It was really embarrassing. Zhang Xiaobao was amused when he saw this. He said to Xiao Bei's children's regiment is still very brave. Don't mention it. I'll disband them later. Seeing so many pairs of eyes looking at him, he turned around and smiled shyly. Uncles, little Bei was just joking. I didn't ask them to really beat you guys up. I was just joking. They'll forget about it after a while. That's right, I was just joking. They're just kids after all. They can't beat adults, right? Xiao Bei's explanation was obviously not acceptable. The leaders of the various Turkic tribes were more worried about the people from the children's regiment. Children were not as steady as adults. If they made a slight move, they might be misunderstood. Usually, children would not be able to defeat adults, but children with guns were a different matter. Wang Wan watched from the side and did not stop them. She silently agreed to this matter. She understood that the threat Xiao Bei brought to others was greater. It was like handing a loaded gun to a monkey that was curious about everything. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao said to Mog and the others, "The first batch of goods has arrived. Everyone, make the necessary arrangements. The rest of the goods will arrive one after another. I hope that we can unite and fight against the cold environment together. I hope that everyone will do their best." Mog and the others agreed and dispersed to make arrangements. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao did not continue to watch over them. Everyone was here, and he was not afraid that they would cause trouble. Just as they had agreed at the start, the old and young were the priority when it came to the goods, especially the salt, tea, and medicine. The Turks did as they were told, not daring to express any of their thoughts. Everything was harmonious. "Xiao Bao, what about the 200,000 people who have surrendered? We can't leave them all in Feng province. There is not enough people there. Once they get a chance, there will be trouble." When the group moved again, Wang Wan began to worry about the personnel arrangements and asked Zhang Xiaobao. "Arrange for them to be sent to Hunan province, Huainan province, Jiangnan province, and 5,000 to be sent to Jili province. We need to disperse them and not let them form an advantage. Arrange for people to explain the laws of the Tang Empire to them. They will be treated the same as the other people of the Tang Empire. There will be no preferential treatment. I don't need to be soft to them. Since they admit that they are part of the Tang Empire, don't give them special treatment. If they don't admit it, destroy them. As for the traditions of the Turks, they can be kept as long as they do not conflict with the laws of the Tang Empire. If there is a conflict, change them all." Zhang Xiaobao clearly knew that this arrangement would cost a lot of money and provisions, but he had to do it. Otherwise, it would be difficult to do it again in the future. The Yellow River has been frozen. We have to go by land. Let's inform them in advance. We also need to transfer more troops to deter them. I will arrange it. Wang Wan agreed with Zhang Xiaobao's idea and began to do it. When the Turks were no longer a threat, the lives of the people of Xinluo began to become difficult. County Magistrate Mu received benefits and began to write a letter to the imperial family of Xinluo with Li Dong. They also used the demolition fee given by Song Qian to carry out the demolition. It was now the end of the year and the new year had not passed yet. Most of the people were focused on the new year. When they heard that County Magistrate Mu was going to demolish, their first thought was that County Magistrate Mu did not intend to let them have a good new year. Those who did not want to be demolished before the new year and were more courageous joined forces with their neighbors and came to the county yamen to discuss with the county magistrate. They hoped that the county magistrate could make an exception and wait until after the new year. In the end, they did not see County Magistrate Mu. What they saw was a black-faced yamen runner. After a few words of dispute, they were beaten up. They could not find a place to reason and could only suppress their anger. County Magistrate Mu was not afraid of the people causing trouble. Those who dared to cause trouble were all arrested and sent to prison. At this moment, he was secretly happy. Song Qian gave him the money according to the number of people in the household register. It was not calculated according to the size of each house. It was impossible to calculate. Other than the corresponding officials, no one registered the houses. Usually, what was registered was the number of fields. There was no difference between building 10 houses and building 1 house. The price Song Qian gave was 500 copper coins per head. The money given was the Tang Dynasty's banknotes. One could directly buy good things from the Tang Dynasty. County Magistrate Mu's mind became active. He was prepared to divide the people in the county according to men and women, old and young. An adult man would be given 300 copper coins, an adult woman would be given 200 copper coins, an elderly person would be given 100 copper coins, and a child would be given 50 copper coins. Moreover, the money given was not the Tang Dynasty's banknotes, but the Xinluo's banknotes. He kept the banknotes for himself. Part of it was used to spend, and the other part was used to give gifts to the people above. Under the threat of force, the people in the county had no choice but to pack up their belongings. They reluctantly left the house they had lived in for a long time and thought of ways to find a new place to settle down. County Magistrate Mu also urged people to hurry up. It would be best if they could complete the demolition work during the new year. At this moment, a piece of news from who knows where entered the ears of the people in the county. The Tang Dynasty merchants gave each person 500 copper coins in banknotes, and did not require them to complete the relocation before the new year. This matter became more and more real and spread more and more. It did not take long for the people in the county to know. Looking at the money they received and comparing it with the money in the rumors, the people immediately knew that the money was embezzled by the people in the county. The bold people once again organized people to find the yamen. Wicked people, all wicked people. Beat them, catch them. Seeing more and more people gathering outside the yamen, County Magistrate Mu was a little worried, but more than that, he was angry. Orders were passed down one after another. Very soon, the yamen runners had work to do. They beat and caught, causing the county to be in chaos. The people did not fight with the officials. Under the deterrence of the powerful force and status, the people in the county became obedient. One by one, they began to restrain themselves. According to County Magistrate Mu's arrangements, they came to a new place to think of a way to rebuild their houses. The resentment in their hearts grew, but they could not do anything at the moment. Chapter 866. Song Qian brought many tents and gave them to the people of Nihe County who had yet to build a house for the time being. He even personally led many people to deliver soybean oil and rice noodles from door to door. This family gave 20 kilograms, and that family gave a jar. He kept saying that the Tang Empire and Xinluo were like family. He also emphasized the fact that all of the demolition money had been handed over to County Magistrate Mu. He hoped that the people who did not receive the full amount would give County Magistrate Mu some time. County Magistrate Mu must be in a difficult position. He believed that as the official of the county, County Magistrate Mu would handle the corresponding matters as soon as possible. Song Qian went around and spent a few days returning to the restaurant between the clouds and the water to rest. County Magistrate Mu received many tents, but he was even more worried. The matter of the money had been exposed. It was better not to have tents now because there were not enough. It was only 1/10 of the amount of tents that people who did not have a house had. Song Qian gave it to him for free. He could not complain that he gave too little. If he left it in the yamen, it would be difficult to give it to anyone. The new year was approaching. On the 20th of the 12th lunar month, the conflict between the county magistrate and the people did not stop. The people came to ask questions, the yamen runners fought, and the people persuaded each other in the neighborhood to send the yamen runners to investigate. This was the cycle. County Magistrate Mu handed over a lot of the embezzled money, and the higher-ups did not pursue the matter. However, if they wanted to give the people the original amount, it was definitely not enough. When a heavy snow fell, County Magistrate Mu fell ill. The cold-hearted people took advantage of the ice to drag their families across the mud river to the Tang Empire. They were willing to do any kind of hard work. If they could stay, they would never go back. On the 23rd of the 12th lunar month, the new year was over. The capital was no exception. In the palace, Gao Lishe was not idle for a moment. He commanded a group of people to start sweeping the dust and carrying out the folk worship. Telegrams were frequently sent from all over the country. Those who had relatives outside and knew the exact location were willing to spend some money to report that they were safe. Perhaps it was because of the telegrams that it was convenient to transmit news. The local officials began to publicize the merits of the current emperor in the provincial capitals a long time ago. The lives of the common people were indeed much better than before, especially the newborns. The number of deaths was 10 times less than before. There was no longer a situation where 6 or 7 children were born, and the last one died. Hearing the summons from the prefectural government, the influential clans and local gentry took the lead and stamped their fingerprints on the 10,000 citizen forms and sent them to the capital. Looking at the distance and estimated the approximate time, those who arrived early would wait and meet on the day of the new year to send them to Lilongji. According to what Wang Wan had told Zhang Xiaobao, Lilongji was someone who rejoiced in grandiose deeds, but he hadn't appeared yet. When Lilongji saw the mountain of 10,000 citizen forms, he was only happy, but he did not dare to relax. After learning how vast the sea was, he understood the insignificance of a lake. When he heard Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan say that the place could send a cannonball from Luzhou to the capital, he did not think that he had the ability to protect himself now. Moreover, Gao Lishe had deliberately placed the matter of the people of Sinro's Nihe County on his desk. Lilongji was prepared to continue working hard. When the Great Tang's technology reached a level where it could find another powerful country and send a cannonball from the capital to the other country, he would think about it again. Summon Lilongji for me. Lilongji emerged from the pile of 10,000 citizen forms. He suddenly had an idea in his mind, and he ordered someone to look for Gao Lishe. A short while later, Gao Lishe, who was dressed in grey, hurried over. "Your Majesty, you've summoned me?" "Yes, you." Lilongji asked in surprise when he saw Gao Lishe's battered appearance. "Your Majesty, it's difficult to clear the ashes from the stove in the imperial kitchen, so I helped carry 2 baskets of ash. Zhang Xiaobao said in his letter that there will be gas, liquefied gas, and other things to replace firewood and coal in the future, but I don't know when I can see it. Your Majesty, is there something urgent?" Gao Lishe did not dare to brush off the dust in front of the emperor, so he just stood a little further away from the emperor and spoke. Lilongji basically wanted to remind the great Tang about the 10,000 citizen forms and the people of Sinro. However, when he heard Gao Lishe mention Zhang Xiaobao, he forgot about it for a moment. He glared and said angrily, "I want to punish Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan." The two of them did not do their duty as the solution emissary and ignored tens of millions of people, but ran to the Turks. Where do they put the imperial court's law? Yes, Your Majesty is right. The telegram said that the two of them are near Feng province and will arrive in a few days. Should we summon the two of them back to the capital quickly and hold the Ministry of Justice, Censorate, and Marble accountable for the same case? Gao Lishe followed the emperor's words and said, as if he would not give up until Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were arrested and brought to justice. This is not necessary, but it can't be avoided. I want to punish them with a year's salary. In addition, Zhang Xiaobai and the others, who did not cooperate with the security officer and secretly connived with Emissary Zhang and Emissary Wang, who were responsible for monitoring the situation, but did not report it and hid it from me in the capital. I hereby revoke their right to impeach from the censorate and also punish them with a year's salary. Li Longji emphasized the words pay penalty, as if it was an extraordinary punishment to show off his authority. The palace maids and eunuchs around lowered their heads and did not say anything. Most of them were looking at their shoes, which were issued by Zhang Xiaobai and Wang Wan. There were hollow places in the shoes, which were studied by a doctor who knew acupuncture. There were all kinds of small protrusions. They often ran around the palace, so it was easier than before. It was said that the cost of a pair of shoes was 3,000 copper coins. They did not know how much the annual salary of Zhang Jedu and the others were. Was it enough to change shoes for everyone in the palace? Gao Lishe's face was full of bitterness. Your Majesty, Xiao Bao and the others will be punished for 10 years. Last time, because of the assassination, they were punished for 3 years. Adding the previous punishment, it's exactly 10 years. They still have to be punished. If they are not punished, it will not be enough to correct the law. If they are not punished, it will not be enough to appease the resentment of the people. If they are not punished, they will not dare to play tricks with me next time. Li Longji did not show any mercy and made the decision. Gao Lishe put on a good show to show that the emperor's justice was not to be trifled with. Then, he bypassed the matter of deducting wages and bonuses and said, Your Majesty, if County Magistrate Zhang Xiaobai of Jianan County knows that you have revoked her right to impeach from the censorate, she will make a scene. Make a scene? How can I compromise because of her dereliction of duty and revoking her position? Today, I am looking for you for another matter. Now our country is at peace. Tens of thousands of countries have come to congratulate us. The people are happy and virtuous. However, in our great Tang, there will always be officials with selfish motives. We must guard against them. We must not be like the people of Nihe County in Xinluo. Therefore, I want to establish a new position to supervise the officials of our Tang. If an official is found to be deceiving the people, I will strictly investigate and punish him severely. Even the relatives of the imperial family will not be spared. I will patrol the territory of the Tang and investigate the faults of all officials. The military and political affairs will not be stopped. Those who are investigated, if they are not detailed, can be convicted on the spot. Li Longji then talked about the first thing he wanted to discuss with Gao Lishe. Gao Lishe kept nodding his head. When the emperor finished speaking, he asked worriedly, Your Majesty, you want to set up a new department to patrol everywhere in the Tang Empire. Moreover, all the officials will be investigated and can be temporarily convicted. Then, who will be chosen? Yes, that's what I was thinking. Naturally, there will be a lot of people. Just like the previous investigation of the bridge and paving of roads, there will be several rounds of inspection. If the people in front of you can't find anything wrong, and the people who came later find out, then the people in front of you will also be punished. I plan to send at least 3 rounds of inspection to each place. At that time, if the people want to spend money to bribe them, it will be a big crime. However, I am worried that even if we investigate 3 or 5 times in a row, some places will still have enough money and methods to bribe all the people patrolling. Coupled with the relationship between the imperial family and other clans, many people will not dare to investigate further. Therefore, I let Xiao Bei and the others be the head of this matter. I don't believe that there will be people who have enough money to bribe them, and I don't need to worry that they will be afraid of the imperial family and other clans. There are restaurants and shops all over the Tang Empire. I think that their intelligence work will be better than mine, the emperor. With them in charge, I want to see who will dare to not do their best. Li Longji thought that he had solved a very difficult problem. He was so happy that he didn't call himself Your Majesty. When he thought of the helplessness of the people being investigated and prepared to bribe Xiao Bei and the others, he felt that it was funny. Ha 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 ha, what do you think? Li Longji finally couldn't hold back. After laughing for a while, he asked Gao Lishe. Gao Lishe understood. No wonder Xiao Bei's position had been removed so quickly. It turned out that he had an even bigger position to give to Xiao Bei and the others. Of course, he also didn't believe that the emperor really wanted Xiao Bei to manage this matter. In the end, it would fall into the hands of Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. It was just that it wasn't good to directly give Jie Du so much power, so he made an exception. Your Majesty's words are extremely correct. This subject can guarantee that Xiao Bei and the others will not be successfully bribed, and no one can afford to bribe them. However, this matter is of great importance and needs to be discussed in the imperial court after the new year. This subject is afraid that it will not pass. Whoever opposes this matter has a guilty conscience. We will investigate this matter first. Go, send a letter to Xiao Bao and the others. Tell them to pay attention to their safety. If someone has an unstable mind, then kill them. Li Longji waved his hand, indicating that Gao Lishe should go and deliver the message. He himself continued to admire the Wan Min Biao. Before the news from the capital could reach them, Zhang Xiaobao had already arrived in Feng Province. In the past, the inner city of Feng Province had a relatively tall earthen wall used to block Turkic attacks. Now, Feng Province didn't have any walls and was unimpeded. The people of Feng Province felt more stable than before. With the Zhang family and the Wang family overseeing the city, they didn't have to worry about being suddenly attacked by enemies. This was especially true with the cannons that had just been shipped in this year. With them, they didn't even have nightmares at night. The vast and mighty Turkic people had come to Feng Province. Seeing the current situation of Feng Province, it was impossible to say that they didn't have any other thoughts. However, no one dared to make a move. Just when they thought that they could live in Feng Province in the future, after only one night of rest, the group set out again the next day. Mo Jilian also didn't expect this. He found Zhang Xiaobao and asked, Zhang Xiaobao, where are you taking us? Aren't we staying in Feng Province? Staying in Feng Province so that you can rebel at any time? Let's go. This year, I'll spend the new year with you outside. I'll arrange a good place for all of you. For example, the leaders of your tribes will become officials in the capital. As for the rest of you, spread out and settle in the prosperous areas of the Great Tang. My Jili province will also take a portion. Zhang Xiaobao didn't hide his wariness toward the Turks and spoke the truth. Mo Jilian couldn't refute this. If it were him, he also wouldn't have left them in Feng Province. He worriedly asked, Then can you guarantee that they will all have good lives? I can guarantee that they will all be treated equally. As long as they work hard, they will be treated like the other people of the Great Tang. Early on, someone will tell them what to do and what not to do. Someone will also teach them how to farm. If they can't learn in the first 2 years and their families can't live well, they will be given subsidies. Then will they be treated like the people of the Great Tang? There is no distinction between you and me. Those who enter my Great Tang are all subjects of the Great Tang. Can the children go to school and take the imperial examinations? Yes. If there is a disaster, will there be a reduction in taxes? Not only will there be a reduction, but if the disaster is serious, there will also be food and money. Some people are bullied when they go to other small countries to do business, but there are also people who will fight for them for thousands of li. Let alone thousands of li, even thousands of li, there will be people responsible for taking back their dignity. Then what are you aiming for? Aiming for the stability of the Turks in the future, to carry out strategic deployments so that we can continue to expand and plunder more good things from farther places. We will work for the peace of the world. Mo Jilian had nothing to ask this time, but he still couldn't understand how attacking and plundering other people had anything to do with peace. At this time, the Yellow River was sealed in ice, and there was no war, so it was naturally impossible to spend a large amount of money to buy cannonballs to blow up the river. Thus, Zhang Xiaobao divided the Turks into small groups. Some walked on the ice, some walked on the banks, and some were escorted toward the capital. Chapter 867. On the second day of the second month, the dragon raised its head. Mo Jilian's group took a detour to Sanshui County from the beginning of the year. They were worried about their own people, worried about the future, and in the process of learning more about the Tang Empire, they finally arrived at Sanshui County. There were not many people in the group. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan left behind 100 guards. Xiao Bei and the others also followed with 50 guards. Then there were the leaders or important figures of the Turkic tribes like Mo Jilian. In total, there were about 70 people. As for their families, there were other arrangements. Because the Yellow River had just opened up, the surging water was filled with countless ice cubes. Therefore, no boats could be seen on the river, and no one continued to walk on the ice. This year, the several section was not like usual. The people were afraid that the ice was too thick and would drown. They happily prepared for spring plowing. This was because an artillery battalion had been pulled over before the beginning of spring, ready to explode the ice at any time. Mo Jilian and the others naturally could not see what had happened on the road they had already walked on. All they could see was the lively scene in Sanshui County. As soon as he entered the territory of Sanshui County, Kei Tachin was infected by the enthusiasm of the people. The sound of firecrackers, gongs, and drums shook the sky. Flags fluttered and ribbons fluttered. A big dragon held up by people meandered in the direction of the county. It's a good time. The second day of the second month, the dragon dance. As the local master, Zhang Xiaobao's face was also brimming with a happy smile. He introduced to Kei Tachin and the others. Mo Jilian watched the bustle and said regretfully, "I thought that Zhang Xiaobao had told us in advance to welcome us." Zhang Xiaobao smiled and did not reply. When they came, they were disguised as merchants and did not raise a flag to symbolize their identity. That was why the people of Sanshui County did not personally welcome them. This was the rule of Sanshui County. When foreign merchants came and wanted to do business, they could only enjoy the same treatment as the local merchants of Sanshui County. Perhaps thinking of this, Emoji sighed and said, "This trip, I have seen Zhang Xiaobao's ability to do business. Those who know will understand that you want to play along, but those who don't will think that you are so poor that you can't even pay for the reception. After deducting the expenses, you have earned about 20,000 coins, right?" Thank you. I made a small profit," Zhang Xiaobao said modestly and continued to move forward. Emoji was a few steps behind. He glanced at the silent Secret Service officer K and asked, "Left Virtuous Prince, how is it?" Secret Service officer K squeezed out a smile and said, "I admire you. We have more than 200 people." Starting from Fengzhou, Zhang Xiaobao spent 10,000 coins to buy a lot of dry food and other goods. At that time, we thought that he wanted to bring back to the capital. Who knew that he was doing business along the way, selling what he bought and paying for our accommodation and meals. In the end, when we arrived here, he actually made 20,000 coins. It doesn't look like much, just 20 coins. But the food and accommodation along the way, even if they deliberately avoided between the clouds and the water and blue sea silver sand, the place they arrived at was not bad. I estimate that it would not be enough for less than 300,000 coins. Also, he saw 2 carts of brocades shipped from Sichuan on the way and bought them. If we had people like him, we would not be in this situation today. No wonder the Tang Emperor Li Longji values him so much. In fact, he doesn't have to show off to us like this. He's not showing off to us, he's teaching his little sister how to do business. When those little guys grow up, they'll be extraordinary too. Our clan will be gone from now on. Mog couldn't help but show a pained expression when he thought of his clan being scattered to different places. As they walked forward, there were more people on the road. Some people who didn't want to join in the fun had already brought their tools to the fields to prepare for the spring plowing. Zhang Xiaobao's team slowed down and looked at the fields on both sides. Occasionally, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would stop and ask a person resting on a ridge. After traveling for a few li, a few cars appeared by the side of the road ahead. There were also many people stopping in the fields. Zhang Xiaobao had the team stop as well. He leaned to the side and took out his clairvoyance to observe the people there. He saw an old man arguing with a middle-aged man. He looked very angry. Then, he walked to the side of the road. The middle-aged man lowered his head and followed behind. He seemed to be explaining something. Are they fighting? MOG asked Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. There may be a problem with the spring plowing plan. It may need to be replanned. I hope it won't delay the plowing time. How do you know? MOG was puzzled. You will know later. Zhang Xiaobao walked forward. It didn't take long before the old man came to the ridge by the roadside and sat on the ground angrily. The middle-aged man who followed him quickly took off his coat and asked the old man to stand up and spread the coat on the ground. Then he stood to the side and explained, Uncle Wang, the land here is fertile. If we plant beans, there will definitely be a lot of yield. That's why when the county was first planned, this area was planned as a soybean field. Please calm down, I'll immediately find someone to discuss and see if we can think of a way to satisfy both sides. Is that okay? The old man obviously didn't buy it, but his expression softened. He said to the middle-aged man earnestly, Second boy, since you said so, do it quickly. You are the county magistrate. Why don't you know how to look at the big picture? Do you think I don't know that the yield of beans in the fertile land is high? But if we plant beans, this land is close to the river. Do you still need water? If we do, all the beans will be washed away. If we don't, where will we get water for the rice fields? In the winter, when we collect manure as fertilizer, you are so careless. Look at the people you asked to add so much lime. If someone didn't see it, you would have burned all the land. It's not that I want to criticize you, but we all know that you want to achieve something. But it depends on the actual situation. You have to come up with a solution within 2 days, or you can't be the county magistrate anymore. Do you hear me? Uncle Wang, you're right. I'll get someone to replan the land and find a suitable place to plant beans. But this year, all the land in the county has been allocated. I'm afraid we won't be able to make it in time. I'm so worried. Why don't we allocate some land on the mountain behind the first house in Linshui? I see a lot of empty land. We can allocate some land there and then the square beside the dock. Let's. The middle-aged man tried his best to explain. Before he finished, he was interrupted by the old man again. No one can touch the mountain behind the first house by the river. Are you waiting for someone to steal the things you planted at the square of the wharf? The people in the county won't touch it. There are so many people coming and going. Are you waiting to catch someone to show off your achievements? That mountain is useless. People who go to the mountain will see the beans. Won't it be another scenery? The middle-aged man continued to argue. Nonsense. That mountain was bought by Zhongjia Zhuangzi. At that time, the Zhang family became famous there. Then the people in the county lived a good life. If you change that place, do you want to change the feng shui of the county? Then hand in the seal today. We don't need you to be the county magistrate. Wrong, Uncle Wang. I know I am wrong. I won't do anything to that place. Can you help me think of a suitable place to plant beans? The middle-aged man's waist was almost touching the ground as he begged. MOG and the others understood this time. The middle-aged man standing was the county magistrate of Sanshui County. The angry man sitting in the middle-aged man's clothes was a farmer in Sanshui County. The county magistrate was scolded because he made a mistake in his decision. Zhang Xiaobao, the county magistrate of Sanshui County, doesn't have any authority? Is he scolding like a grandson? MOG felt sorry for the county magistrate. He was an official, but he didn't have any temper. Before Zhang Xiaobao could speak, Xiao Bei sneered, "What authority?" He should admit his mistakes. Sanshui County doesn't need to be so thick-skinned. An official who knows what he did wrong and continues to quibble is not a fool. No matter how much he quibbles, everyone knows the truth. What if he quibbles? MOG asked Xiao Bei deliberately. He was also a little confused by Xiao Bei's cute appearance. Xiao Bei stared at him and said even more cutely, "Quibbling and escaping will result in dismissal. Any official who is dismissed from Sanshui County can forget about being an official in Tang. Am I right? Look at me, I'm talking to you too." Xiao Bei's voice was loud and the middle-aged man heard it. When he looked over, Xiao Bei saw him and questioned him. "Yes, yes, admit your mistakes. I am not thick-skinned." The middle-aged man nodded. At this time, the old man also turned his head and looked at Xiao Bei. He felt that Xiao Bei didn't look like a local, so he said unhappily, "Little kid, who are you? You don't need to talk about my Sanshui County's officials. County Magistrate Liu, don't worry about outsiders. I will find someone to discuss this matter. County Magistrate Liu, don't think too much. You have to do what you have to do. Who doesn't make a mistake in their life?" This time, not only was Mog surprised, but the other Tibetans were also curious. What kind of place was Sanshui County? The farmer had reprimanded a county magistrate as if he was his grandson, but in the blink of an eye, he was defending him. It was really confusing. Xiao Bei didn't get angry. He turned his head and said to Emoji, "See, this is Sanshui County. Family matters are solved by family members and outsiders are not allowed to interfere. Old Grandpa, I am also from Sanshui County. Do you want me to think of a good idea for you? Little kid, who are you? Why are you with a group of outsiders?" The old man stood up and shook the clothes that he was sitting on. He put them back on the middle-aged man and asked Xiao Bei. Xiao Bei smiled and showed two dimples. "How am I an outsider? They will be one of us in the future. My brother and sister will bring them back and they will become citizens of Tang. Who am I? I am the cutest and smartest little princess of Zhongjia Zhuangzi in Tuqiao village of Sanshui County, Zhong Xiaobei. This is the stupidest Wang Xiaoyuan. Do you see? Don't mention me. You can't elevate yourself by belittling me. Who are you? Just now you said you would think of a way. Think of a way." Xiaoyuan, who had been silent, was not satisfied. When the old man heard Xiao Bei's self-introduction, he was suddenly shocked. He looked at Zhong Xiaobao and Wang Wan who were standing behind Xiao Bei. His eyes opened wider and wider. He looked carefully and asked tentatively, "Xiao Bao, cuckoo?" "Hello, Grandpa Wang." Zhong Xiaobao and Wang Wan saluted at the same time. "Oh, it really is our cutest little princess, Xiao Bei. Come and let Grandpa give you a hug." "I have heard of such a person, but I have never seen her before. I was wondering which family's daughter could be so beautiful, like a flower. So it is our Xiao Bei." For a moment, the old man forgot about farming. His stern face turned into a flower as he picked up the already heavy Xiao Bei. He was extremely happy. The county magistrate next to him was nervous and did not know what to do. He wanted to go up and greet them, but he did not dare. He wanted to pretend that nothing had happened, but he did not dare. Not to mention Zhong Xiaobao and Wang Wan's ranks. Even if they were not officials, the whole county magistrate would tremble when they stamped their feet in Sanshui County. This, that. For a moment, the county magistrate did not know how to express himself. He rubbed his hands anxiously but could not say a complete sentence. "You are County Magistrate Liu, right?" Zhong Xiaobao turned to the county magistrate and asked. Yes, it is this official Lord Zhang. Please give me your orders. Just now. This year. County Magistrate Liu did not know what to say. He knew that if they really wanted to remove him from his position, these two legendary figures in front of him did not have to do it personally. As long as Xiao Bei, who was being picked up, said something, not to mention a county magistrate, even a provincial governor would have to be removed. The people of Sanshui County were very active in collecting information on Zhang Wang's family. As long as there was something going on, they would know. At this time, the old man helped to speak up. Xiao Bao, Cuckoo, and our cutest Xiao Bei, County Magistrate Liu is not bad. When he was a registrar, he did well in accounting. Last year, when he became a county magistrate, he ran around all day. It can be said that he has done his best. Grandpa Wang, I did not say that I would do anything to him. He planted beans in the field last year. Can he continue to plant beans this year? Is that right, County Magistrate Liu? Zhang Xiaobao naturally could not remove him from his position just because he made a mistake. Since he was an official approved by the people of Sanshui County, he would not be bad. The people's hearts were not so easily bullied. County Magistrate Liu nodded vigorously. Yes, during the planning, we planted beans in the field last year. This year, we will plant rice. Because we need to clear the silt in the river, after the rice is harvested, we will directly pluck the fields. The soil will be more fertile. But during the planning, we forgot. What should we do? What should we do? We can only mend the pen after the sheep is lost. This year, we will not plant beans in Sanshui County. Send people to Fengzhou to get seeds. This year, we will plant pasture in the barren lands of Sanshui County. You organize people to go there and buy cattle and sheep, especially those that need to give birth. During the summer, we will make milk products and send them to the Bohai Commander-in-Chief's office to sell. Since Zhang Xiaobao had encountered this, he could not ignore it. County Magistrate Liu knew what was called secret farming. It was like the poppies that were planted in the past. When they were planted, they would be sent to the Dei Medical School. Chapter 868. It's still okay in the county this year. In winter, every village has a boiler room and every family uses heating. Some villages with a small population have moved out and built big houses outside. In winter, the off-season vegetables are not selling as well as before. The main reason is that there are more and more people who know how to grow vegetables. The biggest taxpayer is still at the docks. The river channel has been expanded to both sides. They also specially found shrimp and fish to raise in the river channel. Every once in a while, they will get stuck in the net. Before the new year, 2 pavilions collapsed due to heavy snow. The people in charge of maintenance have been arrested. Fortunately, they were not crushed to death. This matter is not tolerated. Due to the inconvenience of the road, the children in the school drank soy milk continuously for 45 days and only returned to fresh milk 2 days ago. The roast chicken and duck sold in Zhuangzi have become the specialty of the county. Last year, we paid a lot of taxes. Last year's snow was heavy. This year's development will probably be affected. I'm worried that the turn of the river channel will be washed ashore. Decent people have reinforced it. The poultry farm has done a good job of blocking and preventing diseases. There are more than 450,000 chickens and ducks. County Magistrate Liu followed beside Zhang Xiaobao and reported the county's work to Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao occasionally asked a few questions. Every time he asked, County Magistrate Liu would answer smoothly. The group of people who came with the Tujue listened and were surprised and envious. Secret Service K had heard Mo Jillian's introduction of Sanshui County. At that time, it was almost unbelievable. How could a county's development be comparable to a province's? Now that he heard and saw it, he knew that Mo Jillian had said too little. He was even more envious of County Magistrate Liu's detailed introduction of the data. If there was such a capable person in his tribe, why would he be blocked by the great Tang Dynasty a few years ago? Zhang Xiaobao was satisfied. He also praised County Magistrate Liu. It was considered that he approved of his position as County Magistrate. Otherwise, he would have taken him down immediately. Xiao Bei had also been a county magistrate and was in the same line as County Magistrate Liu. He nodded and said, County Magistrate Liu, you have worked hard. You are better than me when I was in Jian and County. You flatter me, you flatter me. It was all supported by the people in the county. As long as the county made a decision that was beneficial to the county, a small portion of the people would be willing to suffer losses to support it. For example, last autumn, when there was a shortage of medicinal herbs, they were going to choose a fertile land to plant herbs in. At that time, they chose 2 Rivers Beach Village. There used to be 2 rivers flowing through the village, so the soil was strong. When the idea came out, the entire village of 115 households, 720 people, no one complained. Within 3 days, the entire village moved. Without their efforts, there would not be Sanshui County today. County Magistrate Lu hurriedly spoke modestly. Although Xiaobei was young, he did not dare to belittle him. "How's the water transportation?" Zhang Xiaobao asked casually. "It's about the same as before, but fewer boxed meals are being sold on both sides of the river. Ever since the introduction of canned food, many foreigners don't like to eat boxed meals from our county and bring their own canned food. This year, I plan to hire some chefs from other places and expand the service station so that everyone can find their favorite dishes." County Magistrate Lu answered without any hesitation. "What about salt and oil?" Zhang Xiaobao was not surprised that County Magistrate Lu was familiar with the affairs of the county like Emo Jillian and others. For him, it was normal to know these things. It would be abnormal if he did not know. To be able to be the county magistrate of Sanshui County, he must have the ability. He then asked about the necessities of life. The price of salt has decreased slightly, mainly because there are more places to dry salt. The manufacturing of ships is also more advanced. The profit of selling salt has not changed. The quantity has increased by 20%, so the price has decreased by 20%. As for oil, the price of soybean oil and rapeseed oil has increased slightly. One is that there are more livestock, so there is more lard, so the locals like to eat lard more. The other is that the people south of the Yellow River like to eat vegetable oil. Most of it is shipped and sold there, so the taxes have increased. It's better to eat vegetable oil as much as possible. I will write a notice later, saying that eating too much lard is not good for health. No, I will say that lard can be made into wax. Keep more of it and try to sell it to the areas where there is less lard to lower the price of vegetable oil. Zhang Xiaobao was afraid that more people would get cardiovascular disease if they ate too much lard. He wanted to mention it in the county, but he was afraid that because of his words, there would be more market for vegetable oil and the price would be pushed to a higher position. Therefore, he could only take a roundabout way. County Magistrate Lu nodded repeatedly. "Okay, I will remember it. I will talk about it later." After the beginning of spring, the price of garlic has increased a lot. It has doubled the usual price. Should we find a good place to plant more garlic? Garlic has increased? How did it increase? Did it increase all at once or little by little? At this time Wang Wan, who had been silent at the side, suddenly asked. Zhang Xiaobao also wanted to know. He knew that people at this time like to eat garlic. Many people asked if there was any garlic when they went to a restaurant. If there was, they would go in and eat without turning around. It was said that garlic and meat were delicious when chewed together. He didn't think so. He only knew that it tasted good when eaten with sausages. County Magistrate Lu thought for a while and replied, "It has increased twice. The first time was just after the New Year and the price increased by 30%. The second time was a few days ago and the price suddenly increased by 2 times. It is said that the places where garlic is produced were bought by big businessmen. It is estimated that the price will increase again. The people in Sanshui County are more prudent and there is no panic buying. I heard that the price of garlic in other places is higher. As long as there is garlic, it will be sold out immediately. I don't know what happened. I always feel that someone is doing it deliberately, but I can't think of a way." Zhang Xiaobao nodded and said, "County Magistrate Lu, go do your work. We will walk and watch. We won't disturb you." County Magistrate Lu acted like he was pardoned and obediently stepped aside. When Zhang Xiaobao and the others walked away, he raised his sleeve to wipe the sweat on his forehead and said to the yamen runner beside him, "I was scared to death. Fortunately, I didn't relax. The young master of the Zhang family is really amazing. He can even find a lot of errors in the data. If we randomly check the data, he will definitely find the problem. It will feel like he has never left the county." The yamen runners also looked admiring. Song Yang, who was still a yamen runner and became the new arrestor, said with a smile, "Sir, young Master Zhang is certainly not ordinary. You should know that when Sanshui County was changed from Zhongxian to Shangxian, Many people said that it was young Master Zhang who promoted it. At that time, there was no master from his family. Sanshui County is the foundation of his family. How could he not do his best? People say that he is a little immortal. Wang Wan didn't know that people were talking about her and Zhang Xiaobao behind their backs. At this time, she lowered her head and thought about something. She didn't wake up until the road in front of her suddenly widened and she heard the sound of running water. She found that they had reached a small river. She asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Did someone deliberately increase the price of garlic?" "Probably," Zhang Xiaobao replied. "Then what should we do?" This kind of thing is the most terrible thing to encounter. In the end, even if there is a way, the real leader will run away. Only those who follow the hype will be unlucky. At that time, the garlic will have changed hands at least 3 times. Should we issue an order to arrest all those who hoard garlic? Wang Wan thought of herself. From 100 years ago until she and Zhang Xiaobao came, she didn't have a good way to deal with this kind of thing. She was worried. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. "Why should we arrest people? Garlic isn't a necessity in life, unlike grains, oil, and salt. I know that you remember the past. At that time, you knew that the real big fish were all the elders in the capital who were officials or were officials in the past. Not to mention cooking garlic, even if they were cooking something more important, who could do anything to them? Let's not talk about the past. Let's talk about the present. There are many people who like to eat garlic. How can it not be a necessity? Today they are cooking garlic. If you don't stop them, they will cook something else tomorrow. Even if they decide to deal with it in the end, many people will suffer losses. This won't do. I will write a letter to the capital and tell Li Longji." Wang Wan was very anxious. She knew that this wasn't just a problem with the price of garlic. If it wasn't handled well, the people's trust in the imperial court would decrease. As she spoke, she wanted to enter the carriage to write a letter. Zhang Xiaobao reached out and stopped her, saying, "Do you really want to use administrative orders to solve the economic problem? Didn't I say before that we shouldn't do this unless we have no other choice? Administrative orders are useful, but there are also many drawbacks. It will make the other party feel that the imperial court is incompetent and continue to find loopholes to attack. Although political economy is a combined study, it can't be used like this. If buying garlic is hoarding, then what about buying ginger? Buying onions? Buying cloth? How do you locate it? Aren't you afraid that the local officials will take the opportunity to do as you wish? Let me tell you this. If I were a merchant and you gave the order to crack down on garlic hoarding, I would immediately change it to something else. If you directly said to crack down on hoarding, then the local officials might be arrested by the merchants. Merchants will definitely have stock in their inventory when they do business. Does that count as hoarding? Then what about the negotiation? Get them together to discuss it. Scare them and give them benefits so that they won't be so greedy." Wang Wan thought of another method. They want to earn 1,000,000 strings of cash. After you negotiate with them, even if you scare them, they will earn less. They won't say anything and will endure it. When the garlic is harvested next year, they won't accept it and will try their best to lower the price. Every industry has its own rules. Who would dare to casually accept it? What will happen to the people who grow the garlic? This kind of thing will backfire. Then, won't you negotiate with them again? Don't you find it embarrassing? If they ask you, what do you mean? If you can't sell it at a high price or low price, wouldn't it be better to send officials to do business? Your imperial court will set whatever price you want. What do you think the consequences will be? Zhang Xiaobao analyzed the situation for Wang Wan and asked. Wang Wan held back her anger and thought, it will become a purely planned economy. When the time comes, the farmers will lose their motivation and there will be problems with business. After all, people who are good at business usually don't become officials. Those who can become officials will need to spend more energy on officialdom, and that will make it even more chaotic. Just like if we didn't come, there would be a salt tax in the Tang Dynasty, causing the price of salt to rise. What should we do then? Why don't we use our family's business to cooperate with them? Economic problems are best solved by economic means. Cooperate with them? Negotiate? Did I give them face? Isn't it just the price of garlic? I'll let them rise and lose money. Later, investigate who is the leader. I'll make it difficult for them to do anything in the future. Zhang Xiaobao scoffed at this kind of compromise and said contemptuously. Wang Wan smiled and hugged Zhang Xiaobao's arm. I knew that Xiaobao would have a way. You have thought of a way to deal with the situation that just happened. Quick, tell me what to do. There's no hurry. Let's go to the county and rest first. We won't let them have an easy time. Let's confirm it first. If the situation is not like what we said, the method we came up with will be useless. How can it not be? There's no news of a big disaster in the garlic area. The price suddenly changed so much. It's strange if it's not strange. Are we going to buy garlic from other places and sell it here? We can't buy garlic from anywhere. As long as we buy it, that place will definitely raise the price. Don't you think it's better to steam eggplant and eat it with sauce than to fry it directly? Each has its own taste. What does it have to do with eggplant? It doesn't matter. I'm going to steam eggplant today. When there are more potatoes in the future, we'll steam them and eat them together. Just thinking about it makes me drool. What's the plan? We'll talk about it when we get back. Zhang Xiaobao and the others strolled toward the county of Sanshui County. They walked until night time, but they did not reach the county. They just arrived at the river that connected to the capital. As the people of Sanshui County were rich, they lived in two-story houses. Their demand for other things was also high. Countless street lamps were erected on both sides of the river. In the entire Great Tang, apart from Luzhou and the capital, only Sanshui County had the ability to do so. The lights of the street lamps were not very stable. They flickered. If the hydroelectric generator beside the river turned fast, the street lamps would light up. If it turned slow, the street lamps would naturally dim. Even so, Secret Service K and the others were shocked. They looked at the caravans walking on the river under the street lamps in the dark night. Some people who could not sleep came over with shrimp cages to fish for shrimp. The more than 70 people thought that they were no longer in the mortal world. These are the street lamps I saw in the capital. Mo Jilian's gaze followed the river. After being mesmerized by the gorgeous colors on both sides of the river, he introduced them to Secret Service K, who was also in a daze. I wonder if my tribe has the same thing? With the light, I think the wolves don't dare to easily attack the sheep pen at night, right? Secret Service K was envious. At the same time, he knew the difference between his tribe and the people of Great Tang. In his tribe, it was more extravagant to light candles. When they used oil lamps, the people of Great Tang had electric lamps. How comfortable would it be to go out for a stroll in the summer when you couldn't sleep at night? Yes, it was just like what was happening in the pavilion not far away. Chapter 869. Zhang Jiuling, who had been promoted to Assistant Minister of the Ministry of Revenue, was leisurely sitting in front of his desk. He held a glass of warm orange juice in his hands. It was said that the Bei Juicing Group was worried that the spring would lack nutrients, so it was specially provided by the central government. The Bei Juicing Group was located in a 40-square-meter room on the corner of the third floor of the Savant's restaurant. Zhang Jiuling's mind was not on the juice. A memorial had just been sent to him. It was about the recent price increase of a certain commodity. The price of garlic in Hunan province had skyrocketed, and the person in charge of the investigation had sent a report that was uncertain of the extent of the damage. In the past, the Ministry of Revenue had rarely paid attention to the changes in the price of these goods. However, starting from 5 years ago, people began to pay attention to it. Once the new assistant minister took office, Zhang Jiuling, he began to strengthen the collection of information in this area. Li Longji was also very supportive of Zhang Xiaobao's decision. After witnessing Zhang Xiaobao's terrifying methods, he was afraid that someone would learn from him. Hunan Province Wind Logistics Group? The name is Wind. How can logistics affect the price of garlic? Aren't they in charge of transportation? Zhang Jiuling could not think of how a logistics company could affect a certain commodity. He read the contents again. A name made his heart tighten: Wind Bridge Shoji. Japanese? Wind Logistics is Japanese. Little Japan is indeed up to no good. This won't do. I have to send it to Her Majesty quickly. When Zhang Jiuling saw the name of the Japanese, he did not think that it was normal price changes. He raised his head and drank the juice in his glass. His stomach felt warm. He organized the memorial and hurriedly walked to a nearby room. As soon as he entered the room, Zhang Jiuling reported to an old man who was half lying on a chair with a worried expression, "Old minister, it's not good. Someone is going to make a move on Tang's garlic." Old minister was referring to Wang Bei. He was in his 70s, and his body was still healthy. Every 10 years, there would be a professional medical staff to check on him. He did not care about the trivial matters. Only when something serious happened would he be called. At this time, he was reading a book written by Zhang Xiaobao. Deliberately leaving financial management loopholes is a temptation for financial personnel. He rocked his chair and savored it carefully. He felt that it was very reasonable, especially the sentence, "Those who are in a financial management environment with opportunities for corruption for a long time will easily grow old." Suddenly hearing Zhang Jiuling's voice, the old minister was startled. He turned his head and looked at Zhang Jiuling. His eyes were full of doubts. Attack the garlic. How to use magic? Could it be that he had to beat up the garlic? Beat the garlic cloves into a paste? Are there dumplings for lunch today? My old minister, don't think about eating anymore. The price of garlic has increased abnormally. It has already doubled. Hurry up and think of a way. We can't let it continue to increase. Otherwise, we won't be able to find garlic to eat dumplings. In Zhang Jiuling's eyes, Wang Bei was no longer steady, but slow. Wang Bei's squinted eyes suddenly opened, and his face became serious. He nodded and said, "Yes, there must be a reason for the price fluctuation of any product. If we lead it to good, it will be a blessing for the people. If we lead it to evil, it will be a disaster for the people. We must investigate. Let me take a look." Zhang Jiuling hurriedly passed the memorial to Wang Bei. Wang Bei carefully looked at it. When he read from beginning to end, he suddenly said, "Oh, Wind Logistics, the problem lies with them. What are you waiting for? Arrest him. Arrest Fengqiao Shoji and ask him what his intentions are." "Ah, arrest? Old minister, why should we arrest him?" Zhang Jiuling did not expect Wang Bei to arrest him immediately. "Why? Just because you suspect that he is disrupting the price," Wang Bei replied. Zhang Jiuling shook his head. "Old minister, that won't do. If we arrest him without evidence, won't the merchants be disappointed? Can't our great Tang tolerate a Japanese merchant? Can't the price of all goods be increased in the future? That's not the case. Hurry up and find evidence." Wang Bei also thought of this problem. Once we find the evidence, won't the price of garlic increase by 10 times? The people who should be lost have already been lost. Even if we kill him, it's useless. We can't take the money he earned and ask each and every one of them who bought garlic, right? Zhang Jiuling did not care if they could arrest Fengqiao Shoji or not. He was thinking about how many people would be lost from the beginning to the end. Wang Bei thought for a while and said, "Yes, arresting him is not the goal. Once the matter is out of control, even if we arrest him and settle the matter, it will only mean that we have failed in our duties. A good fighter will not have outstanding achievements. We have to eliminate the threat before it sprouts. We don't want to wait until many people are lost before we stand out to settle the matter. We don't want that kind of credit. What we want is to make people unable to see the credit. It is like an abyss, calm and not majestic. Old minister, that's what I mean. I don't want to wait until the matter is out of control and then suppress the credit. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan will despise me," Zhang Jiuling said excitedly. He remembered what Zhang Xiaobao had done in Jili province. There were many people who wanted to take advantage of Jilin province, but they didn't have to wait for the real action. Zhang Xiaobao easily controlled the other party. When he was scheming against people, it was not obvious. It was not as obvious as when other officials put out a riot in a place. But if you think about it carefully, you will find that the whole northern Hebei province was very reassuring. They felt that as long as Zhang Xiaobao and Li Shiqiang were there, nothing would happen. This was the real way to rule a country. While Zhang Jiuling was thinking about things, Wang Bei had already dressed up. He drank a big mouthful of tea and pulled Zhang Jiuling out of the room. This is an important matter to discuss with His Majesty. If they succeed this time, they will do it again. Do they think that there is no one in Tang? In Xingqing Palace, Li Longji, Empress Wang, and Wu Huifei were enjoying the flowers together. They were all wild flowers dug from the mountains. Few of them were blooming. Most of them only had green leaves, and some of them had buds. The small buds could only be seen very close. Beside Wu Huifei was Princess Tai Hua. It was not clear whether she was the one that Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao talked about, but the various things that Wang Wan said did not happen now. Princess Tai Hua was very cute. Li Jun and Pan who were older than her, were very curious and always wanted to touch her. Empress Wang was naturally the pair of twins, Jun and Pan who were in her arms. Before the new year, they were sent back by Zhang Wang clan. They had not left for more than a month. One reason was that Empress Wang kept a tight watch on the harem. It was not easy for someone to hurt the two children. The other reason was that Wu Huifei was not in the mood to fight with Empress Wang now. Wu Huifei knew that as long as Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not fall, she would not have any hope of winning against Empress Wang. But how difficult would it be to make them fall? Last time, when they were playing in the lake, even the emperor had tacitly acknowledged the existence of the two people in the Tang Empire. Li Longji enjoyed the peace in the harem. He looked at his children for a while, then at his two women, and finally at the wild flowers. These wild flowers are like the people in the world. They will not wither unless there is a drought. They will not die unless there is a flood. Why do the dynasties change? Compared to the drought and flood, the government is fiercer. I know. As long as there is a way to live, they will not rebel. Because Li Jun did not grow up in the harem and rarely came back, she did not have many scruples when speaking. When she heard her father speak, she immediately continued the conversation. Li Longji happily looked at his 3-year-old son and praised, "Juna really knows a lot." That's right, as long as there is a path to survival, no one is willing to rebel. To be able to force them into a dead end, the person in charge is definitely not simple. Come, let Daddy hug you. Li Jun ran to Li Longji and opened her arms for him to hug. She took out the crushed baked potato chips from her small bag and stuffed them into Li Longji's mouth. "Father, eat the chips." Li Longji recognized the chips immediately and muttered, "When I wanted to eat them," he wrote back saying that there was no more. "Where did you get them now? A year's salary penalty is too light." "Father, Grandpa Zhang said that next year, no, this year, there will be a lot of chips." "Is that true?" Li Jun did not understand what her father meant by a year's salary penalty. She only wanted to eat chips every day. "It's true. Apart from chips, there are more good things. There are rare treasures overseas, and there is a greater threat." Li Longji began to think about the powerful country that Zhang Xiaobao mentioned. A hint of worry could be seen on his face. Your Majesty, bad news. Someone is making a move against Tang." Li Longji, who was enjoying the peace of his family, did not have time to suppress the worry in his mind when Wang Bei's shout suddenly rang from outside. The old man was not stopped. He brought Zhang Jiuling directly into the courtyard of Xingqing Palace. He was sweating profusely from the rush. Li Longji shuddered. His expression changed slightly as he asked anxiously, "Did they attack? Did Lu Zhou send the news? How many gunships did they lose? Do they still have the will to resist?" "They're attacking? Gunships? Your Majesty, who's attacking?" Did the Zhong family and the Wang family rebel? Did they send gunships to the capital? Wang Bei was confused. He followed the topic and asked. Only then did Li Longji realize that it was not that country. He heaved a long sigh and waved his hand. No, no one's rebelling. Tell me in detail what Minister Wang said about making a move against Tang. Servants, give him a seat. A palace maid brought a stool and let Wang Bei sit on it. Wang Bei raised his sleeve to wipe his sweat. He took out the memorial and handed it to the emperor as he said, Your Majesty, the price of garlic has been increasing abnormally recently. I'm afraid that someone is deliberately raising the price. Please investigate this matter thoroughly. Japanese. Wind Logistics? What's your concern? After reading the memorial, Li Longji pondered for a moment and asked Wang Bei. Your Majesty, this is what I think. Wang Bei told the emperor about the matter he discussed with Zhang Jiuling. There were speculations and concerns, but there was no way to solve it. Li Longji listened quietly. When Wang Bei finished, he thought for a while and said, What Minister Wang said is correct. If we arrest him now, we won't have any evidence to prove that he's hoarding garlic, and we won't be able to catch him raising the price of garlic. Good plan, really good plan. It's not easy to have such a capable person in Japan. We'll take action when the new garlic is not out yet. By the time we find the evidence, the disaster will have already happened. Minister Wang, do you have a solution? Your Majesty, this subject can't think of a solution. Why don't we gather all the officials to discuss this matter so that we won't delay too much and suffer more losses? Wang Bei helplessly replied. He really didn't have a solution. Li Longji also thought so. Soon, a few important officials were gathered. They looked at the memorial and admired Feng Qiao Shouji for coming up with such a solution. Li Linfu narrowed his eyes and pondered. Wind Logistics Solution broadened his horizons. Logistics was naturally responsible for transporting goods, and there was a guarantee of compensation. Generally, logistics would want to lower the compensation price so that even if there was a problem, they wouldn't suffer too much loss. Wind Logistics was special. They offered 3 times the compensation according to the goods themselves. At the same time, they extended the review period of the compensation. The compensation would be paid within 3 months. The shipping price was also very low, half of other logistics. They also used the limited number of vehicles as an excuse to selectively accept orders. The orders they accepted were all for transporting garlic. In the end, not long after the garlic was transported, they told the owner that the goods were lost and they were willing to pay 3 times the compensation. Therefore, the people who lost the goods were not angry. Instead, they were very happy. This was more profitable than directly transporting the goods and selling them. It was like a meat pie falling from the sky. After the first batch of garlic was lost, the people who collected the garlic found a good way to make money. They began to collect large amounts of garlic and let Wind Logistics transport it. In the end, the garlic was lost after each shipment. With Wind Logistics' deposit in the Great Tang Bank as a guarantee, the people who collected the garlic were relieved. They tried everything to collect the garlic and raised the price again and again. They were not afraid of the compensation and were even willing to borrow money to collect the garlic. As a result, the price of garlic increased. Wind Logistics did not have any evidence to prove that they were hoarding the price. They were logistics, and losing things was not a good thing. They did not directly participate in the increase in the price of garlic and did not organize merchants to do so. If they wanted to arrest them, they couldn't just casually charge them. Amazing. I didn't expect that a mere logistics company could do such a thing. It seems that they are not inferior to Zhang Xiaobao, Li Linfu said after reading the memorial. Zhang Zhong was unhappy when he heard Li Linfu's words. How could a Japanese be compared to his godlike son? He coldly snorted and said, If my son wanted to cause trouble, would he only use such small tricks? My son is not willing to use such tricks in our Great Tang. Wind Logistics. Fluorescent light. Li Longji nodded in agreement. Xiao Bao has done a great service to our Great Tang. If he was not a citizen of the Great Tang, the consequences would be unimaginable. This time, Japan is just a small trick, but it should not be allowed to be so rampant. My lords, do you have any good ideas? This subject thinks that we can ask Military Governor Zhang at this time. Li Linfu saw that Zhang Zhong was unhappy and pushed the matter to Zhang Xiaobao. He wanted to see if Zhang Xiaobao really could not do anything. Chapter 870. Li Longji listened to the officials argue back and forth, but in the end, they all wanted to find Zhang Xiaobao. He was extremely dissatisfied. In his view, it was better to only find Zhang Xiaobao when there was no other way. If he could avoid using Zhang Xiaobao, he would avoid using Zhang Xiaobao. Otherwise, if he needed Zhang Xiaobao every time there was a problem, what was the point of having other people? What if he exhausted Zhang Xiaobao to death? Seeing that none of the officials could come to a decision, his expression gradually darkened. Could it be that none of you have been attentively studying Xiaobao's books? When it comes to economic matters, there must be a reason. You can either lead the way or cut off the foundation. If it really doesn't work, you can still compete with the other party in terms of attrition. Xiaobao sent word a few days ago that he was busy with the Turkic matter. Don't distract him, right? Your subjects are incompetent, the officials replied in unison, bowing in tacit agreement. Yuanrong straightened up and suggested, Your Majesty, since you want economic matters, why don't you ask the people on the top ranking of billionaires for advice and use commerce to govern commerce? Oh. Who does minister you think is suitable? Li Longji indicated for Yuanrong to continue. This subject has heard that there are many new talents on the ranking, and that the names of the people on the ranking change frequently. But no matter how many changes there are, the top 3 have never been replaced. The other people on the ranking also have considerable wealth. The third person on the ranking is a great merchant from Hadong Road. He seems to be in charge of all the merchant associations in Hadong Road. The second person is Song Jinggong from Sanshui County. In the past, he had always been in the first place, and it could be said that he had received Zhang Xiaobao's teachings. But since last year, he has fallen to second place. The first person is Xin Er, who is of marriageable age, the granddaughter of the former Minister of Revenue, Bai Go. However, many people said that it was not because she was powerful, but because she had someone by her side who was now hiding behind her. Her name was Fong Lu and she had a younger brother, Fong Xiaoman. He was a family that had fled from Tuqiao village in Sanshui County. He was valued by the Zhang family and the Wang family. He was very intelligent and learned a lot of things. He had settled down in the Joy residence and studied the ways of finance diligently. This subject believes that we can ask Fong Lu to come over and ask about the plan. Using the spear of Shang to attack the shield of Shang, we will definitely gain something. Also, that by Xin Er is currently in charge of the largest clothing and toy stores in our dynasty. Anyone from the Great Tang is proud to be able to own one of these 2 stores. They should have quite a bit of money on hand. Other than Zhang Zhong and Zhang Jiuling, who were familiar with the names mentioned by Yuanrong, the others only knew of the former minister, Bai Go. It was not because of Bai Go's great achievements, but because Bai Go was able to live. He was almost 80 years old, but he was still able to wander around. Furthermore, he liked to be a storyteller. He would often go to a certain tavern to chat and exchange for some wine, dishes, and tea. This made people envious and speechless. Li Longji usually did not ask about this kind of thing. When he heard that the number one of the richest people had changed, he was very curious. There is such a thing? Good, go and ask Fong Lu to come over. Let her think of a solution. South of the Yellow River, eastern capital Luoyang. As the winter snow melted, rows of oxen were plowing the fields outside the city. Carts of compost were piled up in the fields and scattered everywhere by people. As the fields were turned up, the compost gradually mixed with the soil in the fields. The busy people's faces were red from the wind, but it couldn't hide the joy that came from their hearts. There were countless people coming and going in the city. Carriages and horses were clamoring. The restaurants and tea houses were already filled with all kinds of people by noon. Some were walking, some were resting, some were working, and some were drinking turbid wine, accompanied by a plate of side dishes. There were also scholars who were preparing to go to the capital to participate in the spring imperial examination. They were discussing the current political situation and the ways of learning. They were waiting for the warm weather to continue for a few more days before they took the fast boats specially prepared for the high scholar candidates to go to the capital. Firstly, the boats were fast and there was no need to worry about delays. Secondly, the capital was expensive. Those who were not rich did not dare to stay for long. There were also merchants who took advantage of the arrival of spring to inquire about the prices of various places. They had professional smiles on their faces. Regardless of whether they knew each other or not, whenever they met someone in the same trade, they would find something to talk about. This way, when they needed to be together in the future, they would not seem so distant. If one were to ask which restaurant was the best in Luoyang, it would naturally be between the clouds and the water, not far from Luoyang's capital. It was a 5-story building. The bottom 2 floors were cast from cement and steel. There were all kinds of exquisite patterns in between, complementing the fragrant green grass in front of the restaurant. The top 3 floors were made of mahogany, with ribbons dancing in the wind. The transparent glass windows, the warm winter and cool summer environment, and the feeling of gazing into the distance made between the clouds and the water in the eastern capital a place for the rich and powerful to show off their status. At this time, in the 5th floor of the Luo Water Pavilion, there were 3 people sitting by the window. Below them was the gurgling Luo water. Above them were floating clouds. The room was neither hot nor cold. The temperature indicator hovered between 25 and 26 degrees. Lord Yamamoto, you've worked hard. Storing and storing garlic is an important matter. With Lord Yamamoto's hard work, I can finally free up my hands to do other things. One of the 3 people sitting in a triangle raised his wine cup and loudly praised the person sitting in front of him. The person called Yamamoto had no joy on his face. On the contrary, he was rather worried. Hearing the other party praise him, he also raised his wine cup and said, "Lord Yamamoto, you were the one who suggested this. I was just running errands, so you can't say that I've worked hard. If we're talking about hard work, Lord Yamamoto has worked harder than me. Lord Yamamoto has been busy using the garlic he's stored up as collateral, obtaining short-term money from other people and depositing it in a bank so that the merchants who collect the garlic can rest easy. His contribution is greater than mine. And also, Lord Yamamoto, you were able to think of a good plan to raise the price of garlic. As long as we wait for 3 months, we'll definitely have a great harvest. We'll be able to buy many good things from the great Tang and transport them back to our country." No, no, no. Lord Yamamoto downed the wine in his cup in one gulp and exhaled a breath that reeked of alcohol. He shook his head and said, "I'm not buying things back. I'm continuing to make money with money." The great Tang sold their useless cloth to Japan in exchange for a large amount of sulfur and silver. Many people in our country don't know about the great Tang's insidiousness, but I can't ignore it. Once I've earned enough money, I'll buy their technology and their good craftsmen back to build ships, cannons, and guns. Lord Yamamoto, who had been listening this entire time, had already drunk 3 cups of strong wine, but he hadn't touched a single bite of food. When he heard Lord Yamamoto's words, he worriedly said, "Lord Yamamoto, it's already not easy to earn money in the great Tang. It's best if we stop as soon as possible. Otherwise, when Zhang Xiaobao realizes what's going on, we'll be at a disadvantage." "Lord Yamamoto, I don't like what you're saying. We haven't broken the laws of the great Tang. No matter how powerful Zhang Xiaobao is, he's still a human, not a god. I hope that he'll know as soon as possible so that I can compete with him and let him know the methods of the Japanese." Lord Yamamoto clearly didn't think highly of Zhang Xiaobao. When he thought about fighting with Zhang Xiaobao, he seemed eager to give it a try. When Lord Yamamoto heard Zhang Xiaobao's name, his face immediately paled. His hand that was about to pour wine couldn't help but tremble. In the end, he put down the wine pot and advised, "Lord Yamamoto, don't provoke him. Lord Windbridge, don't provoke Zhang Xiaobao. I heard that he is not in the capital, nor is he in Jili province. There are rumors that he went to the Turkic Khaganate. Since he is not here, the 3 months are up. Let's finish this deal and see how he reacts. Otherwise, it will be too late for regrets. Lord Yamamoto, I'm not you. I won't buy cement and turn it into hard lumps. I also won't spend a lot of money to buy radishes and plant them like ginseng. Don't blame me for your failure. The price of garlic has already risen. Even if he knows, he can't do anything about it. This time, I've shipped over 1 million strings of silver and sulfur from the country. I can't just earn a little and go back. Lord Yamamoto, you have to quickly exchange all the sulfur and silver for Great Tang's money. 3 months later, I'll enter other industries. You have to listen to my orders and contribute to Japan together. Lord Yamamoto and Lord Yamamoto gloomily looked at Lord Yamamoto and Lord Yamamoto. He was clearly dissatisfied with their cowardice. Yes. Lord Yamamoto and Lord Yamamoto replied respectfully at the same time. Lord Yamamoto revealed a troubled expression. Lord Yamamoto, Great Tang no longer uses copper coins and silver. The silver we brought isn't easy to sell. Ordinary people don't need so much sulfur, and the production of firecrackers is strictly controlled. If we want to sell it to them, the purity of the sulfur must meet the requirements. Furthermore, Konan province doesn't allow people to refine sulfur privately. We have to think of other ways. Sulfur can't be refined privately, so we can sell it to the place where it is refined. The price can be lowered so that the people who collect the sulfur can benefit. I'm in urgent need of money. Sell the silver to the jewelry shop. You have to contact more merchants in this area. If there's no other way, we can use the silver to exchange for money. I need a large amount of cash to carry out the next plan. Lord Yamamoto was once again dissatisfied with Lord Yamamoto's efficiency. Lord Yamamoto looked at the wine and dishes in front of him and suddenly suggested, "We can send the silver directly to the Great Tang Bank as collateral to exchange for a loan. That bank can eat a lot of silver, but the value of the silver will be much lower. 1 tael of silver can only be used for a loan of 400 copper coins. It won't be the same as before. Collateral, hurry up and do it. As long as I have Great Tang's money, I can earn even more. Don't hesitate and don't be afraid of the loan amount. Cash, cash. I need a large amount of cash." For the sake of his plan, Lord Yamamoto no longer cared about the depreciation of silver. He believed that as long as he had enough currency in Great Tang, he could do many things that others didn't dare to dream of. This time, Lord Yamamoto and Lord Yamamoto didn't try to persuade Lord Yamamoto. No matter how Lord Yamamoto saw it, they could only follow suit. After all, he was the leader. However, the worry in their hearts didn't lessen. This was a matter that affected the livelihood of the people, and Zhang Xiaobao would definitely interfere if he knew about it. Lord Yamamoto hoped that Zhang Xiaobao wouldn't be so sensitive to the price of garlic when he received the news later. Chapter 871. Feng Lu came to Xingqing Palace the next day. She went to Wanyan County to arrange the spring clothing exhibition yesterday and didn't make it back in time. Other than Zhang Zheng, none of the officials invited by Li Longji had seen Feng Lu before. Even Zhang Jiuling had only seen her portrait, which was drawn by that old butler of his who didn't do his job properly. The current Feng Lu couldn't find the weak and pitiful appearance she had when she was escaping. She had turned into a slender young lady. She wore a light yellow long dress with a slanted lapel, and half of her exposed calves were covered by a pair of light blue leather boots. Her hair was let down, and there was only a large butterfly clip at the top. Wei Wei's curled eyelashes fluttered occasionally, giving off a serene and dignified feeling. However, there was a string of bells on her wrist, which jingled when she moved, adding a hint of liveliness to her appearance. 2 different styles appeared on the same person, giving a huge visual impact. All the officials, including Li Longji, were stunned. Sanshui Tuqiao Village's Zhang family's deacon, Feng Lu greets your majesty and all the lords. Greetings, old master. Spring is here, and the grass is green and the flowers are blooming. It's just right for me to wear a long dress. Please take a look, Your Majesty and all the lords. Fong Lu bowed to Li Longji and the other officials generously. The address of Old Master was naturally for Zhang Zhong. After she finished speaking, she started walking in front of everyone. She would turn around or pose, showing the dress she was wearing to others. It's indeed very beautiful. I'll get someone to order a few sets later. Alright, Fong Lu, you don't have to continue advertising. You're really dedicated. Even when you see me, you didn't forget to promote your spring clothing. Li Longji watched for a while and suddenly realized that he wasn't looking for Fong Lu to buy clothes. He had something important to discuss, so he quickly stopped Fong Lu from performing. Oh, okay. Your Majesty, you'll get a 20% discount. Fong Lu stopped and stood there, not forgetting to give Li Longji a discount. Yuan Qianyao took over the conversation and asked Fong Lu, have you noticed that garlic has increased in price recently? Fong Lu nodded. Yes. Moreover, as soon as the price was raised, I had my men purchase a lot of garlic from other places and told Uncle Song about it. That's why the Between the Clouds and the Water and the Blue Sea Silver Sand restaurant don't lack garlic. They'll be able to last until new garlic is harvested. Lu Zhou's Between the Clouds and Sea's restaurant won't be affected for now. Yuan Qianyao's mouth twitched, not knowing what to say. Du Xian, who was standing at the side, stood up and asked, Fong Lu, since you already found out, why didn't you tell us? Did you only tell your master? Do you know how serious your crime is? Why should I tell you? I'm a deacon of the Zhang family, not a deacon of the imperial court. I'll tell you now, children often have runny noses during spring. We've specially made clothes for this. There's a pocket in the front, and there's a tissue in the inside. When the adults see their children's runny noses, they'll be able to find a tissue to wipe it off. It'll be all the rage for a while. Fong Lu looked at Du Xian in confusion. She gestured with her hands and recommended a new product. Du Xian was taken aback by the question. He thought to himself, my children don't need these clothes anymore. What's the use of telling me this? Hence, he asked, it's useless to tell me about this. Then, I'll tell you. Now that the spring river in Gyeonggi province and the surrounding areas has thawed, there'll be plenty of fish. However, the price will still be high. This is because many people are sick of eating other kinds of meat during winter. It's a good opportunity to taste the freshness of fish. I reckon that within a month, the demand for fish will skyrocket. If you want to earn money, you should buy more fish as soon as possible and send your men to catch them. Fong Lu told Du Xian another thing. After Du Xian heard this, he replied, this has nothing to do with me. Alright then. Because the Yellow River has opened up, most of the consumables have been used up due to transportation difficulties in many places. We need to prepare some as soon as possible. When the first transport fleet sets off, we can send them over and make a lot of money. Fong Lu continued to give Du Xian ideas. After the others, including Li Longji, heard this, their eyes lit up. It was indeed as Fong Lu had said. If they really followed her suggestion, they would definitely be able to make a lot of money. There was no empty seat under her great reputation. The mastermind behind the #1 person on the top list was indeed amazing. Just a random idea and there was hope for them to make money. Du Xian was a little tempted. Suddenly, he realized that they were talking about garlic now. It had nothing to do with anything else. He immediately asked, then, what does it have to do with me? I'm asking you about garlic. Fong Lu glanced at Du Xian. You don't think it's okay to talk to you about this now? Back then, when the price of garlic increased, what could you do if I talked to you about garlic? You said that garlic had nothing to do with you. Anyway, you don't eat much garlic. You're in charge of discussing important matters. You didn't mention it, so it has nothing to do with you. However, there are many things in the world that are unpredictable. It's hard for the master to understand, so the servant should think about it first. It's a responsibility. Clouds change constantly. Water is formless. Only after the rain does the master know that the sky is cloudy. It has nothing to do with what you said about opening up the river to transport goods. If I want to do it, I'll transfer the river boats of the Zhang family and Wang family. If they don't send out the goods, the price of goods up and down the Yellow River will definitely increase. Does it have anything to do with you? Feng Lu's voice grew louder and louder. Du Xian kept retreating. His face was red from the scolding. Especially when Feng Lu mentioned transferring the river boats of the Zhang family and Wang family to hold the goods, he was shocked. If he really did that, the impact would be greater than the wind logistics. Yu Wenrong saw that Du Xian was at a loss for words. He coughed and said, Miss Feng is indeed extraordinary. The Zhang family and Wang family do put the people's livelihood first. Otherwise, the Tang Empire will definitely be in chaos. I've heard that Miss Feng is smart and knowledgeable in astronomy and geography when she was young. You were even valued and nurtured by the Zhang family and Wang family. Now that I've met you, you live up to your reputation. Official Du is also anxious and has offended you with his words. Please don't blame him. However, now that the price of garlic is increasing, I'm afraid that His Majesty will not stop it. Later on, other things will continue to increase in price. I've called Miss Feng here to ask about a plan. Miss Feng, do you have any ideas? Du Xian looked at Yu Wenrong gratefully and secretly wiped the sweat on his forehead. He just remembered that Feng Lu was not an ordinary girl. She was chosen by the Zhang family and Wang family since she was young and carefully taught. She was no less knowledgeable than him. It was said that she had a photographic memory and was good at calculation. If no one else spoke up for him, he would probably have to apologize to His Majesty after she finished speaking. Zhang Zhong smiled faintly at the side. He was very satisfied with Feng Lu and thought to himself, that's right. Let them think that they can do whatever they want just because they're officials. How dare they threaten the Zhang family? Humph, how can the deacons of the Zhang family be so simple? After thinking about it, Zhang Zhong said to Feng Lu, since His Majesty asked you to come here and ask about it, tell us if you have any ideas. We can't let the people who hurt our people be proud. Feng Lu respected Zhang Zhong more than Li Longji. Without the Zhang family and Wang family, she wouldn't be where she was now. Even if she didn't starve to death, she wouldn't be able to live the life she had now. When she heard Zhang Zhong's words, she bowed respectfully and said, I know that it's Wind Logistics who did this. They used the logistics as a starting point and didn't sell the goods. They also set up a 3-month payment cycle. I've seen the copy of the contract. It says 3 times the payment, but it doesn't say that they have to pay 3 times the amount. In less than 3 months, the new garlic will come out. If the price of the garlic is high, they will sell the goods in advance and then buy cheap new garlic to compensate others. If the price of the garlic is still high, they will use money to compensate. I think that in the end, the price of the garlic will be too high and they will lose money. In this way, they can gain a lot of benefits from this. No matter what I do, they will definitely profit from this. Unless the merchants who see the benefits will stop gathering money to buy the garlic, the people will definitely suffer. Can't we stop them? Gao Lisha asked with a frown. Feng Lu didn't say anything for a moment. She lowered her head and thought about it. The others looked at her, hoping that she could come up with a good idea. This was the first time they encountered such a situation. Moreover, it was a situation where they wanted to suppress it. If they didn't suppress it, they wouldn't have to worry about it. However, everyone was gradually becoming more and more concerned about the economy. If they didn't suppress it, they would definitely be letting the people down. After a while, Feng Lu raised her head and said helplessly, I can only ask them to stabilize the price at the current level. When the new garlic comes out, they will still be able to make money. As for making them lose money, I can't do it. When the officials heard this, they all looked regretful. What they wanted to see the most was Wind Logistics losing money from this incident. They wanted to see if they still dared to casually make a move. However, even the person who ranked first couldn't think of a way, let alone them. Li Longji glanced at Gao Lishe. Gao Lishe said, "What's the plan?" "Order the Tang Bank to lower the collateral fee of the goods as much as possible and not to lend to Wind Logistics. Also, order the Military Arms Control Department to not collect sulfur in the near future. I investigated when the garlic price was rising. Their deposit was exchanged with silver and sulfur shipped from Japan. Now, they are still holding a lot of goods. As long as the deposit is not enough, other merchants who want to get benefits from it won't dare to let them continue to ship the goods. They will be forced to sell the garlic slowly now and wait for the new garlic to come out before buying the new garlic to compensate. The profit will be slightly lower." Fong Lu wanted to mobilize the two main departments as soon as she opened her mouth. This was the plan she thought of. Yu Wenrong thought for a moment and asked, "Then what if they use the garlic, silver, and sulfur themselves to engage in usury in private? If the bank changes the collateral ratio, the private lenders will do their best to lower the price. They won't dare to accept sulfur, but who would dare to give garlic a high collateral price? We can spread the news and let other merchants know that Wind Logistics doesn't have enough funds." Fong Lu replied. "Then what if they would rather lower the price and engage in usury, then go and collect the garlic themselves to raise the price?" Yu Wenrong asked again. Fong Lu smiled this time. "If they dare to collect the garlic themselves, I will make them suffer losses. Once they directly participate in this business, I have many ways to deal with them. I'm just afraid that they won't interfere." The officials were slightly relieved. They felt that it was good to control the price of the garlic to the current level. When the new garlic came out, the price would naturally fall. As for how the other party would lose money if they directly bought the garlic, there was no need to worry. They thought that Fong Lu had the ability to do what she said. Only Li Longji wasn't happy. He didn't want the current price to be stable, but he wanted Wind Logistics to suffer losses so that they wouldn't dare to make a move again. Thus, he asked Fong Lu hopefully, "Is there really no way to make them lose money?" Fong Lu shook her head regretfully. "Your Majesty, I can't think of a good idea at the moment. However, if I tell the young master and he takes action, there definitely won't be a problem." Sigh. "Looks like I have to send a message to Xiao Bao. Hopefully, he's not so busy and has time to deal with this matter." Li Longji sighed and looked at Gao Lishe. Gao Lishe nodded and was about to send a telegram. At this moment, the little eunuch Luobin rushed in and reported to Li Longji, "Your Majesty, the chefs from Savant's restaurant suddenly came. They're just outside the palace, saying that they want to cook for your Majesty. The one leading them is Master Ni, the head chef of the flagship restaurant between the clouds and the water in Tuqiao Village, Sanshui County." Li Longji looked up at the sky. "It's still early to noon. Why are they here to cook at this time?" He looked at Zhang Zhong. Zhang Zhong was confused. He also didn't know why the chefs from Savant's restaurant were here. If Master Ni wasn't in Savant's restaurant, then when did he come back? Seeing Zhang Zhong's eyes, Li Longji knew that he didn't know either. He asked, "Who sent them here?" "They said that it was Zhang Jidushi. They said that he could solve your Majesty's problems," Luo Bin replied. "Xiao Bao sent them? Solve my problems? I'm thinking of how to deal with Wind Logistics now. Do you think you'll know the solution after eating? Go, bring them to the Imperial Kitchen." Li Longji didn't know what Zhang Xiaobao was up to, but he still agreed. "Your Majesty, they said that they want to cook in front of you at Xingqing Palace," Luo Bin said. "Then bring them to Xingqing Palace." "Did they bring tools and ingredients?" Li Longji agreed according to Zhang Xiaobao's wishes. "No, they said to ask the Imperial Kitchen to do it. I'll go arrange it now." Luo Bin didn't need the emperor to tell him to go to the Imperial Kitchen. He came in a hurry and left in a hurry. They waited for about half an hour. During this time, Li Longji had been talking to Fong Lu. He asked her what he needed to pay attention to since it was the beginning of spring, what kind of goods had the biggest price fluctuation, whether it needed to be suppressed, how the preparations for the clothing exhibition were going, what was strange about making clothes for children, and so on. Fong Lu answered him fluently and emphasized that the most likely problem was in the logistics. She told the emperor not to worry. Zhang family and Wang family would make corresponding adjustments to the daily necessities. As long as others didn't specifically target a certain item to create hype, then according to the law, the price fluctuation would naturally remain within a certain range without the need for Zhang family and Wang family to do anything. Even if someone did something, they didn't need to do anything about the daily necessities, such as canned food and drinks. Of course, condiments like garlic were an exception. Although it wasn't a necessity, many people liked it. As for the price rise of meat, they didn't need to do anything about it. They could still eat other things. As Li Longji and the other officials listened, they realized that there were still many dangerous aspects in Tang. It seemed stable, but in fact, it was constantly changing. It was just that the extent of the changes was within an acceptable range. The only way to control it was to go with the flow and adjust it from the side. Li Longji sighed in his heart. In this era of technology explosion, the country is at its most unstable period. If it weren't for the Zhang family and Wang family controlling the price of daily necessities like salt, tea, oil, cloth, rice, flour, medicine, and so on, there would definitely be merchants taking advantage of the situation to gain a lot of benefits. At that time, the members of the imperial clan and the various clans would also reach out and try to stop the situation when they noticed that something was wrong. However, they wouldn't even be able to kill all of them, and the throne might not be as stable as it is now. From the looks of it, I can only wait for more people to understand technology, for more children to become more knowledgeable and not so easily deceived. After this period of explosion and stabilizing, I won't need the Zhang family and Wang family to worry about controlling the situation. If it weren't for the garlic incident, I wouldn't have thought so much about it. At such a crucial time in Tang, the Zhang family and Wang family are actually doing so silently. Perhaps this is the true meaning of boundless love. No, boundless love. They are only loyal to Tang. While Li Longji was thinking about this matter, the others were also thinking about their own matters. It wasn't until Master Ni led the team of cooks to Xingqing Palace that the crowd became lively again. All kinds of cooking tools and ingredients were delivered at the same time. Master Ni and the others had clearly changed their clothes and were probably taking a bath. One was to be clean, and the other was to be afraid that someone would carry poison with them. The officials also understood that the other party didn't bring anything with them because they were afraid that it would be troublesome to check. At this time, Zhang Zhong stepped forward and nodded to the cooks in his family. He didn't stand back, and it seemed that he planned to taste each dish first after it was done. There was no need to check for poison since his cooks couldn't poison him. Master Ni didn't say much. After bowing, he began to organize the people. Those who were in charge of the knife were in charge of changing the knives, those who were in charge of preparing the dishes, and those who were in charge of cooking stood in front of the stove to wash and pick the vegetables. Those who were good with knives took out a set of knives and prepared to carve. Li Longji was looking forward to the taste of the dishes specially sent by Zhang Xiaobao. The eyes of the other officials also lit up. They knew that the cooks in front of them represented the top culinary skills of the chefs between the clouds and the water. Usually, even if they went to between the clouds and the water or blue sea silver sand, they wouldn't be able to eat. Now that they didn't need to eat, they felt honored just by looking at the lineup. The team led by Master Ni naturally wouldn't let the emperor wait for half an hour before the dishes were served. Not to mention the emperor, even between the clouds and the water or blue sea silver sand wouldn't let the guests wait for half an hour. The rule was that if the dishes weren't served in half an hour, the next dish would be served free of charge. If the dishes were still not served after the other people finished eating, they would have to deduct a little more from the price of the dishes. Only in this way could the difference between the dishes between the clouds and the water and blue sea silver sand be reflected. Therefore, the dishes were served faster for the emperor. As soon as the oil was poured into the pot, 2 plates were served. Ginger ice prawns. Other than the simple shredded ginger, there was only ice prawns. There was no vinegar, soy sauce, or any other nonsense. Because the ingredients were all taken from the imperial kitchen, this dish didn't have any special taste. The ice prawns were still ice prawns, and the ginger was still ginger. Li Longji didn't eat it. If he wanted to eat this kind of dish, he could eat it at any time. The second cold dish was clams mixed with scallions. Only a little oyster sauce was sprinkled on top. The third cold dish was cucumber peeled with scallions and sesame sauce. The fourth cold dish was shredded chicken with ginger sauce. Only the shredded ginger was stir-fried with a few other seasonings. The chicken was originally prepared. After the 4 cold dishes were served, the first hot dish was served. Sliced chicken with scallions, bean sprouts, chicken, and a few other supplementary ingredients were served. Only then did Li Longji pick up his chopsticks. Without waiting for Zhang Zhong to taste first, he directly picked up his chopsticks and ate. As soon as the dish entered his mouth, Wei Wei nodded. Not bad. When the earthy taste of the bean sprouts and the light taste of the chicken are mixed together, it actually became fresh. Adding the scallion oil, it's very appetizing. Everyone, try it. When the officials saw the emperor directly eat a mouthful, they couldn't help but glance at Zhang Zhong. The meaning behind their gazes was self-evident. How big of a face did the emperor have to have him eat directly without letting anyone test for poison? Although it was impossible for the chefs to carry poison with them, it was still possible to make poison out of things that counteracted each other. Who didn't know that when someone wanted to send a dish to the emperor, the hot dish would become cold when it entered the emperor's mouth? It seemed that other than Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan personally coming to cook, there had never been a time when the emperor immediately picked up his chopsticks. Now, Zhang Zhong was the second person to do so. Zhang Zhong was also very excited. He was the second person to pick up a piece and stuffed it into his mouth. He didn't care whether it was delicious or not, he swallowed it as fast as he could. The others also came to taste one by one. Fortunately, there weren't many people invited by Li Longji, so there was enough for each person to take a bite. When the first plate of sliced chicken in scallion oil was finished, the second dish, braised mackerel with scallion and ginger, was also served. Following that, the third dish, shredded pork with sweet noodle sauce, was also immediately served. It was actually shredded pork with sweet noodle sauce, but it wasn't called that yet. From then on, one dish after another was served. Some dishes that took a long time were also prepared and would be served in a while. When it was time to eat the 10th dish, a box filled with a mixture of scallion, beef, and pork was also served as the main dish in front of Li Longji. Li Longji only tasted 2 mouthfuls of each dish and didn't eat more. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to eat the next dish if he was full. After eating 2 boxes and drinking some wine, when the stir-fried pork ribs with scallion oil were served, Li Longji and the other officials finally discovered the problem. In all of the dishes, whether it was the main ingredient or the supplementary ingredients, there was no garlic. There were scallions, ginger, cloves, and even flowers and spices, but there wasn't a single bit of garlic. However, the taste wasn't affected at all. On the contrary, it made people feel that garlic shouldn't be added, otherwise, the taste would become worse. When the last dish of stir-fried crab meat with ginger was served, Master and I bowed to Li Longji and said, "Your Majesty, the young master sent a telegram asking us to cook for your Majesty. He also said that these dishes won't be a secret dish between the clouds and the water and blue sea silver sand. I reckon that they've already been sent by telegram to various places in Great Tang and sent to various restaurants. In addition, the north is warm and cold in spring. Dei Medical College has already developed tonics that will be sent to various places in the north. However, I heard that the tonics can't be eaten with garlic. Your Majesty must remember when eating them." Okay, not eating garlic. Good, not eating garlic. Li Longji's eyebrows rose as he repeatedly agreed. If he still didn't know Zhang Xiaobao's method at this time, then he would really be a fool. Good method. As long as people don't eat garlic and like to eat other things, the price of garlic won't rise. Especially when these dishes are taught by between the clouds and the water and blue sea silver sand, they will definitely become popular. What a good method to take the firewood from under the cauldron. Xiao Bao's strategy is indeed extraordinary. Zhang Jiuling immediately felt that the dishes he just ate were incomparably delicious and praised. Yu Wenrong also nodded. Not bad. Once the wind logistics is used, there's no other way. Unless they also have a brand like Between the Clouds and the Water and Day Medical College. One move, is it just one move? Li Longji suspiciously asked. He understood Zhang Xiaobao very well. He didn't just lose in one confrontation. As someone who was familiar with Zhang Xiaobao's way of doing things, he didn't think that Zhang Xiaobao only thought of this method. Gao Lisher interrupted. Your Majesty, this subject thinks that this subject's son, this subject's adopted son won't be so simple. Xiaobao's strategy has always been stacked. This time, the Wind Logistics is in trouble. I just don't know how Xiaobao found out about this matter. Xiaobao seems to have accompanied Mo Jianchong to Sanshui County. Gao Lisher had already treated Zhang Xiaobao as his own son and habitually spoke. When he found that the other person's father was still standing at the side, he could only change his words. However, he was also happy. An adopted son was also a son. In the future, when he died, he would also have to send him off. Zhang Zhong was faintly jealous in his heart. His good son had to be recognized as an adopted son by others. He always felt that it was a loss. That was the son of a god. This Gao Lisher was not afraid of shortening his life. He said a little angrily, since Xiaobao has a plan, why didn't he tell me, his father, earlier? He should have told the emperor earlier. It's too unreasonable. Others didn't answer him. Don't look at how he said it. He was Zhang Xiaobao's father. If others followed him, it would be easy for Zhang Xiaobao to know about it. At this time, Master Ni explained, Please forgive me, Master. Last night, the little Gongzi sent the news. We have been busy thinking about how to arrange the dishes, so we didn't have time to tell you. I also rushed back from Wanyan County overnight. The little Gongzi should have another plan to tell others and is in the process of implementing it. As for how the little Gongzi knew about the garlic, the news has already said that when the little Gongzi arrived at Sanshui County, he casually asked the county magistrate and found that the price of garlic had increased. He felt that something was wrong, so he asked people to investigate overnight and made a plan with the fastest speed. It's all my fault. It has nothing to do with the little Gongzi. You are loyal. Isn't it because your family was too honest and was bullied? Then Xiao Bao found you to be the head chef and helped you solve the problem. He said to you, you can't do this kind of calculation, and I can't cook. Whether the success of Between the Clouds and the Water will be successful depends on you. You even know how to cover for him. Zhang Zhong said another sentence to Master Ni, but his words were full of praise. Naturally, he didn't know that his son was learning from the story of how the man surnamed Jiang bought people's hearts when he was defending the front line of the Yangtze River. When Master Ni heard his master mention this matter, his eyes immediately turned red. He lowered his head and said to Zhang Zhong, Master, please don't worry. As long as I'm here, the dishes of Zhang Zhong and Wang family's restaurants will definitely be unique in Tang. Okay, you two master and servant don't talk about your daily life. Xiao Bao is really not ordinary. He can find the problem by just asking about the situation of Sanshui County. I just don't know what other plans he has. We'll wait and see. Li Longji stopped Zhang Zhong and Master Ni from continuing to talk. Then, he said to Master Ni and the others, Good, the dishes are good. They are even better than my imperial chef. Sure, Lisha, go and find out what Xiao Bao's next plan is. I want to know. After Master Ni left, Gao Lisher was also busy finding out things. He didn't need to ask others and directly sent a telegram to Zhang Xiaobao. Fong Lu didn't leave after she was full. She blinked her eyes and thought hard about what should be after this plan of taking drastic measures. If she could figure it out, she would go further. On the day Li Longji tasted the dishes made by Master Ni, all the restaurants in the Tang Empire that could receive the telegram knew about the new dish. Because it was Between the Clouds and the Water, it received a lot of attention. Especially in the areas that were affected by the increase in the price of garlic, they found that all the dishes didn't need garlic. Apart from saving some money on garlic, the smart people faintly felt that the increase in the price of garlic was resisted by Between the Clouds and the Water and Bihai Insha. This was not a small matter. Between the Clouds and the Water was supported by the Zhang family and Wang family of Sanshui County, the provincial governor and deputy provincial governor of Bohai County, and the minister of the Ministry of Works. If they took action, didn't it mean that the current emperor also acquiesced in this matter? Therefore, these smart people immediately started to follow the steps of Between the Clouds and the Water. The dishes made at noon that day made them happy again. Many people who came to eat said that the new dish was good after tasting it. One was novel, and the other was not bad. Who said that one had to use garlic to cook? Fengqiao Zhenger and Yamamoto Yuji also tasted the new dish at noon on the 5th floor of Between the Clouds and the Water restaurant. When the waiter specially introduced that the new dish didn't need garlic, Fengqiao Zhenger was stunned, and Yamamoto Yuji was dumbfounded. It's over. I said that this won't work. It's only been a few days, and Zhang Xiaobao already knows. Fengqiao, hurry up and sell the garlic. If you sell it now, when the new garlic is sold, you can buy it to compensate others. We can earn less. Yamamoto was in a daze for a while, and then he advised Fengqiao Zhenger, who was still stunned, with a pale face. Yamamoto Yuji's expression was not good either. It was not the first time that he and Yamamoto had fought with Zhang Xiaobao, but every time they fought, they would suffer losses. There was also the people of Xinluo. Just look at the Chamber of Commerce that was trapped in Chongning. As long as they encountered Zhang Xiaobao, they would not have a good time. Fengqiao Zhenger was stunned for a while, and then he looked at Yamamoto Yuji and asked, Zhang Xiaobao is so free to care about the price of garlic? Was he targeting merchants specifically? As long as a businessman finds something that can make money, he will definitely stop it? No, definitely not. Yamamoto shook his head. He doesn't care about normal business matters, but he is against any business that has a deceptive nature, especially those that affect people's lives. As for other aspects, he doesn't care. It's up to whoever can make money. But, as long as someone wants to make salt, grain, silk, medicine, oil, and other things, he will definitely persuade them. If he can't persuade them, he will immediately use thunderous means. Then he didn't persuade us. Fengqiao Zhenger argued. Because we are not from the Tang Empire. What he hates the most is people from other countries around the Tang Empire coming to find trouble with them. It is said that he has endless things to do all day long, and he is unwilling to waste his energy on this aspect. So, once he encounters someone, he will very firmly let them know what can be done and what cannot be done. Oh, I heard that he has a special training class that he will teach personally. Even if they can't meet, they will communicate through letters. Those people should still be learning, and when they learn his skills, he will let them go. Yamamoto Yuji and I also signed up and spent a lot of money to sign up. In the end, we found out that Zhang Xiaobao will only teach people who are loyal to the Tang Empire. Before he started teaching, there was a test. Yamamoto Yuji and I didn't expect that it was arranged by him, so we were eliminated. Yamamoto Yuji said to Fengqiao. He was very angry when he thought of what had happened in the past. What test? Fengqiao Zhenger was puzzled. Yamamoto had never told him this before. It's a test of loyalty. Some people will be found by others and arranged for their families to be sent to other places. They will also give them many benefits. After they finish learning, they will secretly write down the knowledge that isn't very important to them. In the end, all those who agree to it will be eliminated. Yamamoto Yuji explained one of the tests, and Yamamoto Yuji continued. There is also a case where a person sent by a certain prince will be given a high position, but that person will have to help the prince do 3 things. The prince will guarantee the safety of the person and his family, but those who agree to it will still be eliminated. There is also a case where the person who wants to learn is told to write down what he has learned. If he doesn't do it, he and his family will be harmed. Those who are afraid are eliminated again. In the end, they regret it when they find out that the family of those who want to learn is protected by the 10,000 Cavalry Battalion. There is no need to worry about them. Fengqiao Zhenger understood and asked Yamamoto Yuji, "What about you guys? How were you eliminated?" Us. Yamamoto Yuji and Yamamoto Yuji looked at each other and sighed. Sigh. We were found by the people of Xinluo. They said that they are also learning. Maybe everyone is learning something different. When the time comes, we will share it with each other and learn from each other. Yamamoto Yuji and I thought it was right. When the time comes, we will try our best not to share the good knowledge with the people of Shinluo.
Oh.
Feng Qiao Zhenger understood and suddenly asked with interest, then help me think of a way. I will definitely pass the test if I learn it. It's too late. It's only one world. I don't know when the next world will be. It's better to think about the current situation. It's probably not easy to sell garlic anymore. Yamamoto was worried again. Feng Qiao Zhenger also returned to reality. He lowered his head and looked at the dishes on the table. He tried to think of a way. He didn't believe that he would lose so quickly and so easily. A few dishes between the clouds and the water had ruined his plan. There must be another way. Yamamoto Yuji also wanted to help, but when they considered that their opponent was Zhang Xiaobao, they were confused. In their hearts, Zhang Xiaobao was invincible. If they didn't want to be fooled, the best way was to not interact with him. Otherwise, it would definitely not end well. Now that they didn't want to interact with him, but he still came looking for them. As long as more people recognized other seasonings, garlic would not be able to sell at a high price. Feng Qiao Zhenger was like a newborn calf. He was full of fighting spirit. He was unwilling to admit defeat. After thinking for a quarter of an hour, he smiled and asked Yamamoto Yuji confidently, "Do you think garlic is really bad?" "Of course not. Garlic is still delicious when eaten together with meat. But it's useless for us to understand. Nowadays, many restaurants don't cook dishes with garlic. It's useless for people to be picky. I know this. The power of trends in economics is also the role of brands. Zhang Xiaobao has between the clouds and the water. That's enough." Yamamoto shook his head, but he still couldn't think of a way. Yamamoto Yuji was worried. "Feng Qiao, don't you understand? Zhang Xiaobao doesn't want to use administrative means to deal with us. Otherwise, we will be doomed. For example, he will order the Tang Bank to not give us any loans. For example, he will ask the government to strictly investigate and hoard. Hurry up and let go. Otherwise, it will be too late. You don't understand Zhang Xiaobao. He is using food to suppress us. Soon, he will use other methods. Really, I'm not lying to you." Just as they were talking, the waiter knocked on the door and came in. "Sirs, our shop is taking advantage of the beginning of spring to launch a very cheap nourishing medicinal diet. We choose ordinary-looking medicinal herbs and combine them with special craftsmanship. The medicinal diet will strengthen the body and strengthen the body. Please try it, but remember not to eat it together with garlic." After the waiter finished speaking, he left the medicinal cuisine. Yamamoto pointed at the medicinal cuisine and said to Feng Qiao Zhenger, "Feng Qiao, did you see that? Zhang Xiaobao's second hand is out. I estimate that it won't be long before these dishes and medicinal cuisines reach ordinary people's homes. The waiter just said that the herbs are easy to find, which means that it's not expensive." Feng Qiao Zhenger's expression became serious. He felt that he had finally met his opponent, and that was Zhang Xiaobao. As for whether Zhang Xiaobao treated him as an opponent, he didn't think about it. He picked up his chopsticks and tasted the medicinal cuisine. He didn't know if it was because it tasted good, or if it was really good, or if it was just his imagination, but in any case, he approved of it. After swallowing the food and putting down his chopsticks, Feng Qiao Zhenger said to Yamamoto and Yamamoto, "It's impossible for Tang not to eat garlic forever. Even if it's a few months, it's impossible. The current situation is fake. Zhang Xiaobao is deliberately using this to force us to sell the garlic ahead of time. But I definitely can't sell it. If I sell it, I will lose money. Don't just think about the 3 times compensation and the current price of the garlic. When we pawned the goods, the price was not the real price. Whether it was the Great Tang Bank or private loans, our silver and sulfur can only get 2/3 of the money. In addition to the money we spent on hiring people and public relations, if we sell it now, for every kilogram of garlic sold, we will lose 2 taels of garlic. We are here to make money, not lose money. Yamamoto nodded vigorously to show that he understood. Feng Qiao, I understand. But if we don't sell it now, we will lose more than 2 taels of garlic. Then don't sell it. Continue to find people to pawn the silver and sulfur. Also, collect the garlic and give them 5 times the compensation. But the compensation period will be half a year. Show those merchants our silver and sulfur and tell them that within 3 months, a large amount of silver will be shipped from Japan. Feng Qiao Zheng'er said confidently, as if he already had the victory in his hands. But no silver will be delivered in 3 months, Yamamoto said. They don't know. Even if it doesn't work, we have to bribe the relevant people and make them believe us. Go do it. Trust me, we won't lose. Feng Qiao Zheng'er looked at Yamamoto and Yamamoto seriously with a firm gaze. If it was in the past, his gaze and belief would have been useful, but not now. Yamamoto smacked his lips and shook his head. Okay, I'll listen to you. But this time, it's Zhang Xiaobao. I won't count on him. The 3 of them didn't enjoy the meal at all, even though the chef at Between the Clouds and the Water was very good. As soon as the 3 of them left the restaurant, they split up. Feng Qiao Zheng'er went to deal with the matter of increasing the compensation by 5 times. Yamamoto arranged the transportation of the goods, and Yamamoto was in charge of the public relations. They wanted to get more money to operate. Feng Qiao Zheng'er's work went very smoothly. As soon as he said that the compensation would be increased by 5 times, many merchants began to buy the garlic and gradually increased the purchase price. Yamamoto didn't have much to do. He just had to hide the garlic and find a dry place that didn't lack water. The mountain temple was not easy to deal with. He had just eaten and had to find people to eat and drink. He also had to bribe people with money. Even so, the people did not relent. This was because the people who had lent him money had found out that Zhang Xiaobao had made a move. In their hearts, Zhang Xiaobao was a godlike existence. Who would dare to give money to the wind when he was involved? Even Zhang Xiaobao didn't consider this. He only needed to use his reputation to crush Feng Qiao Zheng'er. His plan was still in progress. Chapter 872. Amidst the anticipation and prayers of the people who were preparing for the spring plowing, the warm current from the Pacific Ocean finally broke through the layers of obstacles and toured most of the Great Tang. Jiangnan Eastern Circuit's Hangzhou Prefecture calls. The water level in Qiantang Lake has risen but is within control. Jiangnan Eastern Circuit's Suzhou Prefecture calls. The water level in Lake Tai has exceeded the warning line. Requesting for reinforcements. Jiangnan Western Circuit's Poyang Prefecture calls. The water level in Pengxin Lake has risen. The wind is strong and the waves are strong. Jiangnan Eastern Circuit's June Prefecture calls. A section of Zhoushan County, a tributary of the Han River, has broken its dam. The people in the county are being evacuated. The cause of the breach has been found to be due to the embezzlement of the county magistrate of Zhoushan County. 200,000 yuan for repairing the dam has been detained and has been sent to the capital. Jingji Prefecture's Ningzhou Prefecture calls. In a private room in Savant's restaurant, Li Longji was tasting the new dishes while listening to Gao Lisher's report. Since the invention of telegrams, the transmission of information was many times faster than before. It was very convenient. As long as something happened in the country, telegrams could be used to report and issue orders. Li Longji listened carefully. When he heard that the rivers and lakes were stable, he happily ate a boiled clam. This season was the best time for clams to grow meat but not shells. After spitting out the sand, the clams were fat, fresh, and tender. When he heard that there was a breach due to improper management or embezzlement, Li Longji put down his chopsticks with a gloomy expression. After Gao Lisher finished reporting some of the important situations, Li Longji pushed the plate of clams away and stopped eating. He sat there sulking. Deal with it strictly. Especially the embezzling officials. I want them to be alive to earn but not to spend it. How's the monitoring of the military equipment going? Your Majesty, all the weapon parts are wrapped in oil paper. There's no need to worry about getting wet. However, the old grain in some places may become moldy. I think it's going to be used to brew wine. There's good news. The construction of the train is almost complete. The tracks are being laid now. It's estimated that it can be tested in the capital in mid-summer. Gao Lishe also hated corrupt officials very much. He remembered the emperor's order and mentioned something that made people happy. Good. I heard from Xiao Bao that there's a train. As long as we're willing to spend money to build it, it'll only take half a month to travel from the capital to Luzhou. It can carry people and goods. Where are Xiao Bao and the others? Li Longji imagined the big picture that Zhang Xiaobao had painted for him. Suddenly, he realized that there had been no news of Zhang Xiaobao in the last few days. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao should have been busy with the disasters in the Great Tang. There had been no news of him sending reinforcements from Zhushan district. Your Majesty, last night, Xiaobao called and said that he would be staying in Sanshui County for a few days. He said that he had a seed that he wanted to personally guide the locals in their cultivation. Also, Mo Jilian and the others will not immediately enter the capital. The 200,000 some Turkic people have already been sent to various places. Some are still on the way while others have already arrived. Gao Lishe hurriedly replied, meaning that Zhang Xiaobao was very busy and had no time to deal with the disaster relief. Li Longji muttered to himself for a moment before nodding. In the past, Xiao Bao and the others had a convenient information network, so he was always in charge of disaster relief. Now that we have a telegram, we naturally shouldn't let him continue to be in charge. It just so happens that there are a lot of idle officials in some places, so let them form a temporary disaster relief department. If there are any more disasters, let them handle it. They can't just take my money and not work for me. Zhang Xiaobao, who Li Longji was thinking about, was currently enjoying life in Zhangjia Zhuangzi. Regardless of whether the weather was still cold or not, he set up a shed by the roadside and sat down to enjoy the scenery. From time to time, he would say a few words to Mo Jilian, who was accompanying him. He would introduce how Zhangjia Zhuangzi was and how Sanshui County was. Back then, the sky was so blue, the clouds were so white. Back then, Mo Jilian yawned and occasionally agreed. These days, he was dragged around by Zhang Xiaobao all day, climbing mountains, diving into the water, and wading through muddy ditches. He was even more tired than when he was on the grassland. As he grew older, he did not recover as quickly as Zhang Xiaobao, so he really did not have the energy to listen to Zhang Xiaobao's nonsense. Wang Wan was not far away. She wore 2 more layers of clothes and was embroidering. It took her a while to sew a needle. No one knew what she was thinking about. Xiao Hai finally stopped studying his mathematics and followed Xiao Zhu to look at the scenery. Sometimes, they would run to the front of a certain house and listen to the old man sitting at the door tell stories of the past. Xiao Bei, on the other hand, dragged Xiao Yuan around. She realized that the farmers in her hometown were really rich. Every house had 2 stories, and they were all made of good wood. From the looks of it, if it were not for the sake of maintaining the same style, every house would have been built with 5 stories. Small bridges over flowing water, winding corridors, lush green grass, and leisurely windmills. To be able to live in such an environment around the flagship store between the clouds and the water, in Xiao Bei's opinion, was true wealth. The most direct way to make her feel that wealth was reflected in the tradition that Zhuangzi had always maintained. In every small pavilion along the corridor, there were prepared cooking utensils. No matter how the seasons changed, if one wanted to eat, one did not have to go into the house. There was a dedicated person in charge of watching the charcoal burning area. Once there, one could take out the red charcoal fire and find a pavilion to eat. The last time she came, she was still young and could not do it herself. Now that she felt that she was older and could do a lot of things, she brought a few members of the children's regiment to get charcoal and began to eat. Sometimes, they would run to one pavilion to cook. Sometimes, they would go to another pavilion to see if the food was ready. Fortunately, the members of the children's regiment were children from Zhuangzi. Otherwise, if Xiao Bei ran around like this, she would definitely get lost. This is for you. Xiao Bei did not eat much and only wanted to cook. In the end, she found that she had cooked too much and could not bear to throw it away. She put it on a plate and gave it to the Turks one by one. Fortunately, Xiao Bei did not like to eat meat and only cooked vegetables. They would not get old after a long time and could be eaten. In addition, the Turks were also tired of eating meat. Since Xiao Bei gave it to them, they ate it and did not waste it. At the same time, they were full of interest in this maze-like zhuangzi. Kei Tachin, the left virtuous prince who was in charge of the army, ate a plate of tofu skin one after another. He yearned for the winding corridors in zhuangzi, especially when he heard that this zhuangzi could provide food at any time regardless of whether it was cold or summer. He compared it to his own tribe and was very envious. As he ate and looked, he habitually regarded this place as a place to attack. The scenery in his eyes gradually turned into a place to attack and defend. He began to think about where to enter when he attacked and how to defend against the defenders. He did not know if he did not think about it, but when he thought about it, he was shocked. He found that no matter which direction he attacked from in zhuangzi, he would have to face a fan-shaped defensive fortification. The small buildings that looked scattered actually took care of all angles. From the outside, it looked like it was all buildings and fields, but the area surrounded by the small buildings could be used to mobilize manpower and supplies at any time. The platforms used for people to play between the clouds and the water to stand at a high place to watch the scenery were clearly arrow towers. Here, try this. Xiao Bei carried another plate of food and put it in front of Kei Tachin. Kei Tachin was stunned when he saw the food. It was too big, so he looked at Xiao Bei in confusion. Xiao Bei quickly introduced, "It's a big skewer. The outermost layer is dried tofu, the middle layer is cabbage, and the innermost layer is eggplant. I rolled it myself. I washed my hands. Who doesn't wash their hands after eating like you? It's not cooked yet, right?" Kei Tachin did not want to refuse Xiao Bei's enthusiasm, but when he saw that the cabbage was still straight, he could not help but feel puzzled, so he asked. "This thing can be eaten raw. If it's rolled too big, the outer layer of dried tofu will break. It's not like you haven't eaten raw before. Beef and mutton, don't you all eat raw? If you don't want to eat it, I'll eat it myself." Xiao Bei looked like he was treating the thing he rolled as a treasure and reasoned with Kei Tachin. Kei Tachin hesitated and felt that he should not have an upset stomach after eating it. He gritted his teeth and took the plate to eat. He was really afraid that Xiao Bei would eat it himself. If he had an upset stomach, Zhang Xiaobao would torture him. While eating, Kei Tachin continued to look at the arrangement of zhuangzi. Xiao Bei was very happy when he saw that Kei Tachin had eaten. He asked curiously, "What are you looking at?" "I'm looking at whether your family can defend zhuangzi if it's attacked," Kei Tachin said vaguely as he ate. Xiao Bei understood. He narrowed his eyes and shook his head. Brother and sister said that unless we use the Tang Empire's cannons to attack from a distance, we will kill as many people as they come. Once someone comes close, they will face a three-dimensional crossfire attack. The people lying in ambush at the various firing points can shoot out the firepower of a machine gun with a single shot. If too many people come, they will set up cannons. There are no blind spots in zhuangzi. There are also two kinds of tactics. One is mine warfare, and the other is, why do I have to tell you everything? Do you want to attack our family's zhuangzi? I'll tell my brother. As Xiao Bei spoke, he suddenly realized something and turned around to look for his brother. Kei Tachin hurriedly reached out and gently pulled Xiao Bei back. He ate the rest of the food on the plate as fast as he could and said, "It's so delicious. Is there more?" "Is it delicious?" "Yes, it's this cabbage and eggplant rolled with dried tofu. I'll make it for you now. Wait for me." Xiao Bei seemed to have forgotten that he wanted to look for his brother. He turned around and went back to work. Xiao Yuan followed behind and reminded him, "Aren't you going to tell your brother?" "What should I say? That he wants to attack our family's zhuangzi? Where is he?" Xiao Bei asked. "Then just now I saw that there were too many cabbages and couldn't finish them. You don't like them, so I gave them to him. Actually, I know that he doesn't like them either." If I didn't say that I was going to look for my brother, would he stop me? How stupid. Xiao Bei spread out a piece of cabbage and placed the eggplant in it. He even stuffed the cabbage foam into it and rolled it slowly. Xiao Yuan opened his mouth and looked at Xiao Bei carefully, as if he had just met him. What are you looking at? Come and help me. Today's cabbages have to be eaten. Otherwise, they will wilt overnight. Even pigs don't like to eat them. Xiao Bei urged in a dissatisfied tone. Zhang Xiaobao didn't know that his sister was scheming against him. He continued to talk to Mog, who wanted to sleep. After you are appointed as an official in the capital, I will arrange a place for you. You will be responsible for planting pasture. It's easier than planting rice. You will feed the horses. If there are any leftovers, you will feed the sheep. You can't let the sheep eat it directly. It will dig the roots. You can choose a place yourself. Don't be too far away from the capital. Okay. Mog nodded his head slowly. In order to have a good rest and divert Zhang Xiaobao's attention, he asked, "Is the garlic problem solved?" You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.